Welcome to Visionaries Global Media, your number one source for podcasting entertainment. Visionaries Global Media, envisioning excellence on a global scale.
This is Banned from Ringside.
Tonight on the Banned from Ringside podcast, AEW opens that forbidden door to NJPW. And if you've ever listened to this podcast, you know that's a big deal over here. Darby Island and Andrade have a coffin match. There's lots of stuff going on in WWE. Not all of it good, but some of it's okay. And there are rumors that I am super mad about that. And a whole bunch more tonight on the Banned from Ringside podcast. Did you hear about the rumors?
I'm going to carefully say no because there's a lot of rumors.
Ditch that 9 to 5. It's time to feel alive. Hello, Mark. So welcome to the Banned from Ringside podcast. As always, I'm your host, Bill Vagey, a.k.a. Cash Rules Everything Around Me. Cash rules everything around me. Cream, get the money. Jabba Bill, y'all. And sitting to my left, that's two Wu-Tangs in a row. Yep. Sitting to my left, we have Jason Cornelius Bell. What's going on, JCB?
Allow us to bow our heads as I read from the latest edition of the Banned from Ringside podcast, volume 253, chapter 3, verse 14. And the good smart saith, hashtag boo the heels. It is all good, baby. Listen, share, subscribe, repeat the Holy Trinity of BFR. Quick shout-outs while I'm thinking about it. Shout-out to High Five Tom. Thanks for meeting me at the Windy City Riot event. Thanks for getting me in line in time, because if you didn't, I probably would have missed the first couple of matches. And then, obviously, I got to fuck with the Two Beer not being here this week. I wanted to fuck with him because he drunkenly bought those tickets, and they fell into my lap because he could not go, obviously, because it would have been travel, hotel.
That was this past weekend?
It was, yeah, on Saturday.
Oh, shit. Okay, yeah.
So, of course, they fell into my lap. I was like, well, fuck it. You know, New Japan is here. I got to go. I mean, I'm not sure when it would. This is before, you know, all hell breaks loose and Tony Khan just fucks with everybody with signing this deal with New Japan for the Forbidden Door pay-per-view. But I was thinking in my head, this is probably the only time they're going to be here in America that it's that close. It's no excuse not to go. So we went, High Five Time met me or whatever. So we had a good talk before and after, or whatever the case may be. He'll be coming into town in a couple weeks. So, shout out to High Five Time and thanks to Beer for the ticket, you dumbass.
Before we get too far into it, we need to talk about STL versus the World Grand Ole Wrestling. It is coming up, guys. It is next Saturday. I will be there. Your boy Jason Cornelius Bell will be there. Vice will be there. We got Hamilton. We got my friend Tim Alvarez. There's going to be all sorts of motherfuckers there. Murray, the Murray Man. Murray's going to be there.
Yes,
I haven't seen that motherfucker in a long time. He texted us out of nowhere today since he has a new T-shirt idea for Two Beer Zach Pullman, which is pretty fun.
Yeah, I was going to say he doesn't have his own T-shirt yet, which is a little bit of a.
But go online, look up STL versus the World, look up Grand Ole Wrestling. It is $25 flat fee. There is not a bad seat in the house. It is going to be a party. Josh Alexander, Josh Alexander, Moose, Mike Outlaw,
Davey Richards.
I'm
sorry. Yeah, I said it right for once. Davey Richards, Gary J., West Coast Wrecking Crew, Technical Difficulties, Tootie Lynn, Daniil Dashwood.
Also known as Emelina,
yeah. Kalisto, now known as
Kalisto.
Samurai Del Sol, I believe.
And Jinder Mahal is booking the whole thing, and Jinder Mahal is going to let Kalisto cut loose. I already told him. He got to book a 45-minute match with Kalisto. Dude.
Look, this is going to be nuts. I'm very, very excited for next Saturday night. Joey and I have talked about this ad nauseum on multiple weeks. I expect this. I have a high expectation for this. It should be a lot of fun. So, yeah, come on out.
April 30th, 2022 at the Grand Ole. That's Grandel. Doors at 5 p.m. And like I said, $25 flat, anywhere you want to sit. We are coming at you from just the gorgeous St. Charles, Missouri, St. Louis, Missouri. It is very nice outside. Sorry to Jason. I apologize to you that we're starting so late and that you had to come out here.
You acted like we live and shit.
My brother, my brother Joe was coming in town tonight to. He's going to a wedding in Columbia. He's in a wedding in Columbia, Missouri. He's driving down from Detroit. He was leaving at 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, so he was supposed to get here around 4. Apparently, my brother Joe, who has been known to partake in the weed, got Highway 69 and Highway 96 mixed up, and Jesus. It cost him 2.5 hours. So I was out there alone with my daughter Edna Guerrero, and I was like, she is not going to make it very long. She has been at fucking, she did little gym today with the rest of the little babies. She didn't nap very well. I was like, she is going to be going crazy, and by God, she was going crazy by about 6 o'clock. I was like, Joey, it was nice seeing you for 15 minutes. Peace. This kid is going to fucking freak. So that's my apology to Jason Bell on air so everybody can hear it. I'm sorry that we're starting so late. I know you don't, but you're driving out here. You're making a real sacrifice for coming out here, and I apologize. So
that's kind of funny.
96 and 69.
First question.
I was like, wait a minute, those highways are that close together? What the fuck?
Who does that shit?
Michigan.
Asking for trouble.
Michigan. They show the hand. They're like, 6 is up here, 69 down here. So no Two Beer Zach tonight. His kid had a track meet. They're almost done. Zach apologizes. He especially apologizes to Blood Girl Raven because Blood Girl Raven said, friend of the show, Blood Girl Raven said that she was looking forward to Zach's take on the Forbidden Door pay-per-view.
Oh, we're talking about that next week again. And the weeks leading up to it.
Yeah, but we're going to start with it right now with that 3 counts.
1, 2, 3.
All right, JCB, kick it off.
I don't want to give Tony Khan all the credit because, New Japan has to get, some love too because, I'm sorry, I'll just say it on air live right now as we speak. I feel like I'm the lone true New Japan fan of the bunch. That's still my number one. Zach is AEW. I feel like Bill is AEW as well. Neither here nor there because obviously we have what we're going to get ready to talk about is the big announcement.
Yeah, come on. We all watch New Japan, though.
Oh, yeah.
You watch it all.
Yeah, and that's the difference.
I watch New Japan. I just don't watch all of it.
And that's all I'm saying. We all like it. To me, it's my number one. For you and Zach, it feels like AEW is your number one. And it's neither here nor there.
Sure.
They're both great.
Fair.
We both love them.
Yes.
Okay, so let's just get that off the table. Now, that said, Tony Khan comes out, and I'm thinking streaming service because that feels like the next step for a wider audience for AEW. He brings out the New Japan president. I forget his name. Doesn't even matter at this point because then I was like, oh, shit, now this makes sense. They already kind of gave us the nugget with, Rampage and Aew Dynamite coming on weekly on New Japan World. So now here's the bigger nugget. I think it's the 26th of June. It's a Sunday. United Center, AEW, and New Japan are going to have unfortunately, a one-night show where it's basically going to be AEW versus New Japan. And I'll just say it, in my own best two-beer way I can possibly say it. My dick got hard because now all of a sudden we have what we've always, at least what I've always waited for a long, long time. When ROH and New Japan did their Supercard, that was the biggest thing that was the equivalent to something that was not WrestleMania related. It had mixed results. All In was much better received. This, to me, is now the best of both worlds because you have the established New Japan brand, the AEW brand that basically was supposed to be New Japan, but they broke off anyway, and now they have this own successful brand with half the United States watches WWE, the other half is AEW. Let's just keep it simple. This AEW side is going to come over and watch this super show is the word I'm going to go with, which makes me just, the imagination just goes wild. My only hesitation is the booking has to be somewhat even. It can't be all AEW. It can't be all New Japan. I don't care if it's 7 matches to 3 or whatever. Something, it just has to make sense. As long as it makes sense and I'm entertained, that's really all I'm worried about. But ultimately, this is now on the card of things I have to do for 2022, okay? This New Japan show was like, okay, yeah, I got to do it. Now this just supersedes this. It's on a Sunday, which is perfect. I'm off. I just got to get off that Monday so I can get my narrow ass back home. For me, I want to at least make the attempt to at least be in the house to try to see this bad boy. If not, then obviously I'll watch that Joker live. But it's finally happening. I'm, like I said, rock solid hard when I heard that shit. It was a surprise to me because I was thinking streaming service, but Tony Khan just made a 2-for-1 deal, and it all makes sense. It's finally starting to happen because restrictions, COVID-wise, are starting to loosen on the New Japan side. Obviously, here in the United States, you can travel here and there. So, all things considered, if it stays the way it does, this is going to be the shit.
This is make no mistake about it, this is a massive deal for New Japan Pro Wrestling. And I don't mean massive deal like money-wise. I mean, they really have a chance here to connect with the American audience that they've been trying to get for a long time, that they were ramping up to getting before COVID hit, and they were, because they had that huge MSG show. This is a huge deal for New Japan. The only person that this is a bigger deal for is me as a fan, because I'm really looking forward to it. I think that this pay-per-view has an opportunity to set up some big things. It's going to set up that Bullet Club
storyline, yes.
Bullet Club storyline that's going to stretch across different promotions, which sounds very fun. It also has a bunch of dream matches. And listen, sometimes I hear, I'll get into this a little later, but sometimes I hear criticisms of AEW that, well, they have good matches, but there's no stories. And, of course, I don't agree with that, but take it as you will. Listen, I was spending some time on wrestling Twitter last night after the announcement, and it is such a drag, man. Like, you can try to fight, but it is trying to hold the tide back with a fucking 5-gallon bucket. It's just, you can't do it. It's just so negative. It's like what you want. My favorite tweet said, AEW and New Japan announce this exciting pay-per-view in June, and WWE fans say, well, how can we make this about us? And it's seriously what happened. It's like, guys, just chill the fuck out. It's like, if you don't give a fuck about it, then don't give a fuck about it. Anyway, I'm not trying to fight a straw man. I like watching good wrestling matches, which is why I like New Japan. Personally, today, when I texted Jason and Zach and I said, is there any New Japan that I need to watch for tonight's show? And you said no. I was like, fuck, because I personally like logging on to New Japan World and watching a couple fucking 20-minute bangers, or watching Yano do his thing, or,
God.
But anyway.
Windy City Riot was the shit, by the way. I just wanted to put that out there.
Well, I do want to hear about it on the pod. But Two Beer Zach.
Yeah.
Yeah, you were off the show a couple weeks ago. I said let Jason speak for himself, but we're going to let Zach speak for Zach here, because he put up a dream AEW NJPW dream card. I'll skip, he's got Yuta versus Uemura. Cool. He's got Orange Cassidy and Danhausen versus Yano and Taguchi. I like the idea of Yano versus Orange Cassidy.
I was thinking that myself.
That sounds really good to me.
Y'all, you can do what you want to.
Undisputed Elite versus Bullet Club 10-man. Jericho versus Suzuki. Fine. Sammy versus El Desperado.
I think we can make that happen, Kevin.
Jungle Boy versus Ospreay. I mean, that is probably not who I'd put against Ospreay, but I'd watch it.
Yeah, for sure.
Ray Phoenix versus Hiromu. He might have meant Penta, because I think Ray Phoenix is still on the
shelf.
Still
hurt, but it's still. I think he
either one though.
No, I think he said on the tweet after it that Phoenix was hurt. There was like a disclaimer for this whole thing.
I like I just dip my toe into wrestling Twitter now. It's just so negative. It just really it like brings me down. Pac versus Shingo. I didn't even think about that. That sounds fucking boss.
Apparently Pac's hurt, but that something else to that. But go ahead.
Now this match, I think this match is probably going to happen. Zack Sabre Jr. versus Bryan Danielson.
Yeah, I was thinking that's probably the safest bet of the bunch. There was somebody else I was thinking.
He's got Kingston versus Ishii. I think I'd rather see Kingston versus Suzuki. But either way, I'd like to see those big, meaty boys slap some meat together. You know what I mean?
Actually, if I'm not mistaken, Ishii and Eddie Kingston is getting ready to happen. That was, as long as we're going to talk about Windy City Riot for 30 seconds, that was basically the semifinal match, Tomohiro Ishii versus Suzuki, which was, I think, the match of the night. I'm sorry. It was, two meaty guys slapping meat, like you said, and it was live, and the crowd was hot.
I didn't make that phrase up, by the way, so nobody come at me. It's Kaz. Andrade versus... Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, but Tomohiro Ishii won the match, and then Eddie Kingston came out afterwards, and the whole crowd just starts losing their fucking mind. I'm just like, dude, if this is going to happen for free, I might have to just go get a tattoo in New Japan at this point. But basically, they set up a match for the Washington pay-per-view that's coming up here in a little bit.
I want
Moxley and Tanahashi.
I want to reiterate here that this is not the official card. This is just Two Beer Zach's dream card.
Throwing it out there.
Andrade versus Naito.
I think that needs to happen. If you can get Naito over here, that should be that match.
So you just said Moxley versus Tanahashi is probably happening?
Moxley, Will Ospreay was the main event for Windy City Riot. John Moxley did a curb stomp.
Who went over?
Moxley went over. Both showed color. Moxley did a curb stomp.
Moxley curb stomped Ospreay?
And the crowd went absolutely ape shit.
Oh, I bet. Jesus
it was
Christ.
crazy. And obviously, Ospreay, I shouldn't say Ospreay.
Hold on. Let's take.
Thanks, Jack.
Hold on. Let's back up a little bit. Jason, we'll get back to what we were talking about. Tell me about Windy City Riot. So it was in Chicago.
It was in Chicago.
You drove up there by yourself?
Drove up by myself. I left like 12:30, got there like 5.
Jason and I did not talk before the podcast at all. He came in. I said, let's start recording because we're starting late. And so we have not talked at all. So we're just going to talk like you guys aren't even here. So you drove up there by yourself?
Yeah.
Got there. An Airbnb?
No, it wasn't. A hotel is a Courtyard Marriott.
You should have stayed at that place that me, you, and Zach stayed for Starcade.
I think we're going to take a pass on that.
That chick gave Zach negative 5 stars.
Right.
She's like, they left weed in my couch. They did not go to bed.
I had the decency to take the weed with me. How dare you say I left weed in your couch? Any event, so I got there at 5, met high five time like 5 till 6 o'clock, and when I got there, you can start to see the line. It was a fairly significant line, and I was towards the back, towards basically at the end of the line. As we start to weave our way around, the line just kept getting bigger to the point where, as I was getting ready to go into the front, you can see to my right at, say, I'm looking at my 12 o'clock, to my 3 o'clock, you can see the end of the line. It was nuts, okay? Just the amount of people that they packed into this motherfucker. But anyway,
tell me about the notable matches.
Well, just because we're just talking about it.
That sounds insane.
Yeah, so Ospreay comes out. They have the United Empire, like total United Empire, where I'm saying Aussie Open was there. Great O'Khan, who was fucking over. Great O'Khan is over in Chicago, I guess, in America at this point. Jeff Cobb was there. Hanare, they had a 10-man tag versus Bullet Club. That was okay. I had to go get something to eat at this point, and then I'll talk about as I came back. I'll just say it now. As I'm watching, Bullet Club and United Empire finishes up, and I'm still in this ridiculous-ass line. Who comes out? Finjuice versus it's Jonah, Batman Tito, Shane. I can't think. What was his name in NXT? It's Shane
Thorne.
Shane Thorne, yeah. Okay, it's like there's.
I don't know. I forget what his name was in the NXT.
It's them three versus Finjuice and the third guy. I can't think of what it was. Anyway, so they start. It's like a Street Fighter shit. They're outside, they're fighting, in the aisle where basically I'm supposed to walk back to my seat. I'm thinking to myself, okay, I'm starting to hear some like loud. It's Brody King. That was the surprise. That was the mystery partner, Brody King and Finjuice.
And you're getting ready to take a bump, coming back with some popcorn and a hot dog.
Dog. You can hear like the meat hitting meat. I'm just like, what? I'm like, damn. I'm looking over like, what the fuck's going on? Because I can't really see what's happening. And then it's like Brody King and Jonah just trading shots, like maybe 10 feet away from me. So I'm like, okay, I'm getting close to not getting even my food yet, but I'm watching the match literally in front of me. So I'm finally getting my fucking food, and I look over, and they're like fighting where the seats were. I'm pretty sure I should have been on New Japan World, and I haven't looked at it yet, so I'm kind of don't want to know, because if I was supposed to be on New Japan, that's gonna really fucking piss me off.
I'll find you.
Yeah, right. No, anyway. So I'm watching this shit, and I'm like, well, fuck, man. This shit's happening. I'm just now starting to get my food, and they start to break away from me. And as I go back up to my seats, they're like, dude. I'm like, I know, motherfucker. I've been waiting for food for like 20 minutes, and now all of a sudden, all hell breaks loose. Anyway, Ospreay versus
got to eat before the show.
Yeah, big mistake. Anyway, Ospreay Moxley was the main event. Ospreay comes out with, like I said, all of United Empire. That's going to hopefully go into this AEW New Japan Super Show, but another story for another time. Moxley, so I'm thinking, okay, where's Moxley going to come out? Because usually he comes from the stands. But behind me, there was like no place where he can physically, come from behind us or whatever. He came in the way we came in through, the tickets or whatever. So they basically spread shit out. This is where you might see me again, but like I said, I haven't looked back and watched it. And they were basically fighting in front of us where I didn't have to look down. I just basically stood up, and the direct angle, you can see Ospreay and Moxley fighting. They basically get back into the ring. It was a really good match. The curb stomp was basically the point of the whole thing. Was it the
finisher?
No. That's just like, what the
Death Rider?
Yeah, and then the referee fucked up the count. So that's where, there's going to be a smidgen controversy. If you will, Ospreay, you can come back with this. I'm not sure who messed it up. I want to say it was the referee messed it up. I think that was supposed to be the finish.
It was a shoot mistake, though. It was not.
I think it was a shoot mistake. Okay. I don't think it was, a work to where we're going to play this off. But now you can if you want to. I'm
kind of more interested in Great O'Khan being that over.
Dude, it was nuts.
Did he have a match?
It was him, Jeff Cobb, Hanare, and Aussie Open. That's Kyle Richards and I can't think of the big guy's name.
That's all right.
And versus Bullet Club.
But Great O'Khan was.
I mean, as soon as he came out, they all lined up, and Great O'Khan was like in the middle, and the crowd was like, wah! I'm just like, what the? I looked around. Quick side note, speaking of look around. So as I'm in line, I look over, I see a House of Torture t-shirt by this guy was wearing it. Dude, if it wasn't so cold and I didn't have time to fuck around, I would have walked my narrow ass over and be like, what is your problem? You have to tell me what you like about this fucking group, because they are the worst fucking thing about New Japan. I kept staring at him for like 10 minutes. I'm like, dude, okay, you need to smoke a cigarette or something.
Takes all kinds. Takes all kinds.
So it was Bullet. Scott Norton was now anointed as the final Bullet Club member. So it was Scott Norton, ELP, Chris Bay, and the Good Brothers versus the United Empire. Okay, I was like, this feels like, a good time to go away. I should be able to go away, get something to eat, and come back for the next match. Obviously, that wasn't the plan. So I didn't really get to watch that. Overall, Jay White had his USA of Open Challenge. So basically, it's anybody that wants to come out. Shooter Umino, aka Shooter, comes out, and he's the the Open Challenge contender, and I was like, what the fuck? Okay, so if you remember, and this is for the New Japan hardheads that, love it and watch New Japan, if you remember Shota Umino, when he was in New Japan, he looked like a young lion. This is not the dude. No, he is, not beefy, but he's put on some nice weight. He looks good.
Beefy enough
to where now he came out. I was like, what the fuck does he mean? I'm like, damn, okay.
Damn.
Him and Jay White had a good match. So when Shota Umino comes back to New Japan, that's going to be a whole thing. I can't wait for that. Ultimately, it was a nice New Japan show from start to finish. It was a good time.
That sounds like a fucking ton of fun.
It was.
I would have
really
driven
was.
5 hours just to see Moxley Ospreay, to be honest.
That and like I said, Ishii and Suzuki was totally worth the drive.
We'll be talking about Moxley a little bit later in the rumors section because.
Oh, okay. Now I think I know what you're talking about.
So speaking of Jay White, this is part of Two Beard Zach's dream card. Paige versus White. We've probably seen that before, right?
I'm assuming he means Adam Page. No.
Yes.
It's still where
he's not talking about Ethan Page. Maybe Diamond Dallas.
Right. It's still Bullet Club versus Bullet Club where, you can still play off of that. I don't necessarily have a huge problem with that. Plus, it'd be a nice little match.
He's got Omega Okada 5 as his main event. Now, it's not going to be Omega, right? It's going to be Punk. He left Punk off this thing. He left Punk off.
Okay. See, that's what I was thinking. It's not going to be Omega because he won't be ready for June. So let's just get that off the table.
I think it's going to be when Omega's going to come out at the end.
Yeah, I was thinking
and
more.
We might see Ibushi also.
Yeah, I was thinking more so Okada versus Daniel Bryanson because that's one of Daniel Bryanson's checkmark lists. If it's going to happen, let's just do this damn thing.
Well, we also, but we have to see Daniel Bryanson or Bryan Danielson versus.
It's already happened.
ZS Jr., right?
It's already happened.
We had to.
I know, but in that, the only defense about that is it's already happened. Okada versus Daniel Bryan / Bryan Danielson has never happened.
No, that's true. But here's the thing. This Forbidden Door pay-per-view can make some stars out of Japanese guys that are ready to be made stars, like Okada, like Hiromu. I think American audiences will really take to Hiromu. Hiromu is, he's one of the 3 most exciting guys in New Japan.
Arguably the face of the division, even if Desperado has the
No,
belt.
not arguably. He is the face of that division. Desperado is awesome. I love him. Hiromu is a cut above for my money.
I'm not going to disagree with that.
It's
more of his personality, but go ahead.
For the listener, though, what I really want this conversation to get across is that this pay-per-view, I am looking forward to this even more than I look forward to WrestleMania, even more than I look forward to All Out.
Okay,
This is what I want to see.
Are you looking for this more than the G1 tournament?
No, because the G1 lasts weeks.
Okay, that's what
the
I was gonna
G1
say.
lasts
Let's
weeks.
Just, let's keep it in like the New Japan kind of.
This is an exciting prospect for guys like us who have never given up on New Japan throughout the pandemic, even with the clap crowds. Guys like me, you, and Zach have not given up on New Japan, and I think that we have been disappointed a lot of times, but I also think that we've been rewarded in a lot of ways also. Ospreay, Shingo, just talking about matches like that.
Yeah, that bad boy can be in front of nobody, and it'd be still be an instant classic.
So if you've been listening to this podcast for a long time and you're still not on New Japan, I can't help you. If you're new to this podcast and you don't watch New Japan, go out of your way to watch New Japan. It is worth it.
If not, this Super Show might be the time to do it. And
this would be the perfect way to get into it.
I guess this is where...
Because it'll be palatable for you, and you'll know which matches are big. Because a big thing about watching New Japan events is that they're 4 hours long, and generally the first half of it is multi-man shit that you really don't even care about. It's the one-on-one matches. They rarely do triple threats. It's the one-on-one matches are the ones that you want to watch, and tag team matches are the ones that you want to watch, right? Would you agree with that? You watch all the multi-man stuff.
No, if you want to cut to the chase, and if you're pressed for time, and as somebody that's now just gotten a second job again, I get it. You're pressed for time. If you want to watch, just cut to the chase, that's probably a safe bet. Watch single man matches. Tournament times, that if you want to watch Best of Super Juniors getting ready to come up, cut just to the Best of Super Juniors.
But even that, the first half of the event is going to be multi.
No, I'm just saying, just watch the tournament matches.
But it's hard to know when you turn it on. I know that when I turn on New Japan World and I turn on an event, I have to go to I usually go to prowrestling.net. And I try to find the rundown of the matches so I know, okay, I can fast forward through these first 3 matches. That's all I'm saying.
Or you know what you could do?
What?
You can listen to the podcast, and we can do that for you.
Yes, listen to BFR. It's anywhere that podcasts are found. Anyway, this Forbidden Door pay-per-view is very, very exciting. And I like the way that Tony Khan the announcement got hijacked by Adam Cole Baby, and we're going to get Adam Cole Baby versus Ishii next week, and that's going to be fun. Ishii, the Stone Pitbull, he's a guy that's never held the big belt in New Japan, but he is no pun intended, he's a rock solid performer, and he has tough, tight matches. He has no neck. He fucking rules, man. They call him the Stone Pitbull.
Yeah, I was going to say.
They call me the Stoned Pitbull.
Right. I didn't know that. I don't know if Cole and Ishii have had a singles match in New Japan. I'll just say this. Adam Cole is probably picked or has been drawn one of the worst opponents he could possibly get at this point. Coming off the title loss. And obviously, we're going to get ready to talk about that here in a little bit. I'm assuming he's going to win, but if he doesn't, it would be a nice, interesting storyline to see how that storyline would unfold, especially after he tried to rally the troops backstage on Dynamite.
All right, let's get to that 2 count.
1, 2, 3.
Lots of AEW / Ring of Honor this week. There was Rampage. There was a title match on Rampage. There was the Battle of Belts on Saturday. And then you had your standard AEW Dynamite, which is always must-see TV for this podcaster. We'll go in.
No, it's must-see TV for sure.
We'll go,
at least for me as well.
We'll go in chronological order. We'll go from the earliest to the latest, in case you guys didn't know what chronological meant. So Rampage, there was the Blackpool Combat Club versus the Gun Club. It was fine. I don't think we have to talk about it too much. We're not going to, otherwise our podcast has been taking too goddamn long lately. We're doing 2.5, almost 3-hour podcasts. We don't have to talk about every single segment on every single AEW thing.
206 last week.
206. God damn, that's long. Jesus Christ. That's all the longer it was?
Well, I mean,
it felt like 4 hours for this guy. Maybe it's because I was stoned. Pitbull. But anyway, any thoughts on Blackpool Combat Club versus Gun Club? No? Thanks. Okay, let's go. No, I'm kidding. Go ahead.
I thought they would. I'll be quick about this because you're right. It's not much to say.
It went the way that we thought it would.
Yeah, I just thought they would just come out and stomp them. And I guess credit to the Gun Club, they didn't come out and let them stomp them. Outside of that, like you said, it went the way it's supposed to.
We're not going to talk about Butcher versus a dude. Ruby versus Robin Renegade. We're not going to talk about Paige Cole. So this was a title match, Texas Death Match, rematch for Paige versus Cole. I was once again wrong. I thought that Cole would take it. I guess it was a little silly of me to thinking that they would change the title on a Rampage. But they did put the title match on a Rampage. This match was fine. Didn't last long enough. As far as I'm concerned, Adam Page ends up going over again. If you were just going to do this, they just should have moved on from Adam Cole, from Adam Page after their first match. What do you think?
Yeah, I was going to say, I would like to disagree. I just can't. It just felt like it was a little meat left on the bone, I guess, for lack of a better term. The right guy went over, as far as I'm concerned. Did this need a rematch? Probably not. I mean, the first match, I thought Cole lost and lost decisively. The fact that he got this rematch and then got it so quickly, it was just kind of like, okay, whatever. But, it was good enough, but I wish there had just been some separation between this match, the first title loss, and then a later title loss down the line. So I guess we'll see what happens. The Texas Death match was fine. It's
good enough to watch. I mean, go out of your way to watch it.
Yeah.
Like, if you like AEW, if you like watching Texas Death matches.
I'm not going to sit here and say it was a bad match.
It was not. No, it was good. We're just inundated with great matches all the time. It's really got to stand out to stand out, Moving on to Battle of the Belts on Saturday night. I think we had a double turn in the first match.
It's starting to feel like it as now time progresses, but okay,
Sammy Guevara versus Scorpio Sky for the TNT title. I guess Sammy Guevara and Ty Conti are taking up. No, I think they're taking up the Cody Brandy
storyline.
If Cody would have agreed to a heel turn, which it looks like he didn't, but they are getting heat. And we talked about it last week. We talked about, why is it when people just genuinely love each other, everybody turns against them? I don't know what it is, but the crowd has turned against these guys. And if Dynamite's any example, they are leaning into it. Either way, Sammy Guevara wins back the TNT title. He's now the 3-time TNT title holder.
Via low blow going into...
Via low blow, yes. So, yeah, very heel shit.
Yeah, and that's where I think it's more that sets up the Dynamite from last night.
But Scorpio Sky's got to stop hanging out with Dan Lambert if he's going to be a babyface.
I don't think the fans care. I think they teased... Okay, hang on. They teased Scorpio Sky before, what was that on Wednesday? They teased this, a possible SCU reunion with Scorpio Sky saying, "Hey, Kaz, let me jump the line on."
That was Wednesday. That was last night. Yeah.
Okay, I'm not saying that it's.
I could not remember the name of that team. SCU. Thank you.
It's not going to be. Fans hate Ty and Sammy so much that even Dan Lambert is getting love. Ethan Page had the promo after the match that's still getting talked about, so he's getting love. Scorpio Sky is, the victim. He's getting love. I'm not saying that they're baby faces, but for right now, that's who the fans are behind.
I haven't read this anywhere, but it did cross my mind, so I feel like I have to say it because this is my platform where I'm allowed to say whatever I want.
The fuck you won't.
It did cross my mind that Dan Lambert's thing is a lot of times just being really, really mean to women. And if he gets cheers for it, then you're kind of dipping into attitude era bullshit, sexist stuff. And I'm not trying to read too much into it, but saying that he's going to hammer you the way that your girlfriend wants to be hammered and shit like that, it's not a babyface look, and it doesn't look good for the crowd to be cheering stuff like that. That's what I'll say.
No, good. It's a cheap pop. Okay, let's just get that.
Yes.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
Now, if you want to look behind it, I agree with you 100%.
It says more about the fans than it does say about Dan Lambert. Dan Lambert is trying to say it to be a heel.
Right.
And because Dan Lambert can't be anything but a heel.
Okay, let's play devil's advocate for 30 seconds. Let's say this was... fuck. There's no babyface.
Edge.
No, there's no... I'm trying to keep it all AEW, but there's no babyface couple that you can equate to at this point.
There's no babyface couples.
exactly.
We talked about this last week. You can't have a babyface couple.
I think you can. You
know
have
you
to kind of do it the right way.
And I don't know if I said this last week. I don't think you could have a babyface couple because most wrestling fans don't have girlfriends.
Okay, see, I don't know why you're trying to throw me underneath the bus right now, man.
No, well, you've had girlfriends before.
Okay, yeah, but I mean, I don't have one now. I mean, what you trying to say? What you trying to say? I mean,
take it as you will.
Moving on, motherfucker.
Either way, it felt like a double turn. It feels like Scorpio Sky's a babyface now because the interaction Scorpio Sky had with Frankie Kazarian backstage at Dynamite felt like a babyface thing.
The way he came out,
he went up to him all respectfully. He was like,
for sure.
He's like, just respect me.
I was waiting for like sucker punch or something, and it didn't happen. I was like, oh damn, that's it.
Let's talk about Dalton Castle versus Jonathan Gresham. Very fun match. We haven't talked about Dalton Castle on this podcast in probably 2.5 years.
Yeah, since we went to Starcast.
Probably since the boys went away and the boys came back.
Right.
I just want to say that big fan of Dalton Castle. I like his whole shtick. He is funny to me. The guy can obviously work. The Ring of Honor thing with them shaking hands in the middle of the ring still works and is still effective, and it makes sense why Ring of Honor worked so well. Jonathan Gresham, I think they said he's 5'4". There's no way that dude's 5'4", right? I mean, he's got to be 5'7", right? He's got to be bigger than 5. He's not 5'4".
Dude, he's
5'4" is.
I will look. I'm like
No
5'7" without my shoes on.
No.
Yes.
Come on.
Yeah.
No shade to any 5'4" guys out there, but there's no way he's 5'4". Great match, though. Did you like the match?
I did like the match. Jonathan Gresham, like I said, arguably one of the 3 best wrestlers in the world. Dalton Castle, if he never got hurt, it's one of the great what-if ROH stories. I'm sure High Five Time has talked about it. If he hasn't, there's a podcast idea for your charge. It just works. Dalton Castle, I liked his gimmick before this one, but neither here nor there. It was a really good match because Dalton Castle can work the same way that Jonathan Gresham can, and it all just makes sense. He had a really good match. Jonathan Gresham goes over,
and because Tony Khan can't help himself, Jay Lethal and Sanjay Dutt and Satnam Singh. Am I saying that right? Satnam Singh. Apologies if I'm not saying it right.
I don't know because
Satnam,
I'm not paying
Satnam. If I wrote it down right, Satnam Singh. He comes out. By the way,
I'm not paying this dude a mind right now.
It was a bad debut, but when they shot from the bottom of the ramp with Jay Lethal and Sanjay Dutt standing next to Satnam Singh, it was like, holy shit, that dude is fucking massive. Like,
a big dude.
Fucking massive. It was a much better showing for him, and I'm happy for him. The thing that I worry about with a guy like him is that's not his fault that people shit on his debut. It was a booking decision.
Yeah.
So I root for the performer, and I want the performer to do well. I want everybody to do well because I enjoy pro wrestling. That's what wrestling Twitter doesn't get, you fucking assholes, man. It should be fun. You're supposed to be rooting for people. Anyway, and then Samoa Joe comes out to scare him off. Samoa Joe and Jonathan Gresham being buddies, that's cool to me. I'd say combined, they're about 8 foot tall.
See, you ain't shit.
8 foot tall, 600 pounds.
God damn, dude, stop.
500 of it's Joe.
We get the joke, motherfucker. Damn.
Let me keep hammering it home. The best jokes are the one you have to explain.
My only thought was after this is I really hope that they do have an ROH brand of some sort, whether or not it's independent or a spinoff of AEW from Rampage or Dynamite. If we got to go to dark elevation, ROH is a viable brand, I guess, is where my point lies. And now you're starting to lay the groundwork for a Jonathan Gresham as a champion, Samoa Joe as the TV champion. These are names, recognizable names, more so probably Joe versus Jonathan Gresham, but that's not Jonathan Gresham's fault. You have an opportunity for, the Ethan Pages of the world that still hasn't really gotten his chance to show his wares on the AEW brand. Maybe you can shift him over to ROH. There's plenty of ROH tied in with Danielson, Punk, Red Dragon, Adam Cole, baby. So you have an opportunity to do multiple different storylines if you want to. I guess the question is, if they're going to do it, when is it going to ultimately happen?
All right, let's move on to AEW Dynamite. Opens up with CM Punk versus Dustin Rhodes. I think this is one of those matches that AEW doubters don't like. They say there's no story here. Why are these guys having a match? Well, records count. I mean that's the kayfabe style answer.
Kayfabe style.
The other answer is, man, get this crowd hyped up, because if the crowd is hyped up at the beginning, the crowd's going to be hyped up throughout. It's a 2-hour show. So if you're trying to get the crowd hyped up for the rest of the show, why not give them a fucking 13-minute match at the beginning that's CM Punk versus Dustin Rhodes? Am I wrong?
Punk has always been a good way to get the crowd invested.
We talked about this last week. We said that there's a lot of AEW Dynamite opens a lot with Punk.
And people want to see him. You know what I'm saying? And I don't have a problem with that. I don't think it's necessarily an AEW argument of why people didn't like, or some didn't like, Punk versus Dustin. I think this is just a basic wrestling argument. Well, then, people don't necessarily like face versus face or heel versus heel.
Well, fuck those people. What did you think about it? Did you watch it?
Of course I watched it.
Did you like it?
It told the story to me where when Dustin got hurt with the knee, and I tweeted, I was like, okay, this is like a crossroads where we're going to see how bad Punk really wants this.
People were pissed off when Dustin Rhodes didn't win with that pile driver.
That was a lot.
They were pissed off. People wanted. I think people are wanting to turn against Punk.
A crossroads into a pile driver should
win. Should win.
And when he kicked out, I was just like, yeah.
You sound like you. Sound like AKA over here. Yeah.
So that's why I was like, damn, okay. And I even tweeted, I was like, man, okay. You know who's going to win. That just seemed like a lot for just me, who has no chips in the middle, that doesn't have a horse in this fight. That seemed like a lot for me to swallow.
I thought, when I was watching, I was like, ooh, Goldust is going to give him his first fucking, or I guess it'd be a second loss here. I thought that would have been cool for Goldust to get Dustin Rhodes to give him his second loss. It's hard for me not to call him Goldust. But goddamn, Dustin Rhodes can fucking wrestle, man. Like, it is crazy. And you remember, I can't remember if we were doing the podcast or not, but it was when it was the Shield versus Stardust and Goldust. I guess wasn't. I think it was pre-podcast.
I think we were, but go ahead.
Well, no, because Cody Rhodes has been gone for 6 years. Is that what they said? Or were they not counting Stardust?
Go ahead.
I don't know, but when it was, they used to run Raw, where it was Goldust and Stardust versus the Shield
incarnation of the Shield
for like months. You know how WWE just drives that shit into the ground over and over and over and over
Dusty
again.
Come into it totally.
And Goldust was by far the oldest guy in the match.
And was that dude then?
He is so good. And they call him the Natural. I mean, he's the fucking Natural, dude. He's so fucking good. Or at least JR calls him Natural.
Well, no, I mean, I think we can obviously say he's a natural in the ring. He's had, what they say, over 2,600 matches. That's just ridiculous. And he still hasn't dropped in quality.
I would watch him wrestle a broomstick. I really would.
He's that good. Okay?
I would watch him wrestle Kenny Omega. Let's see a Kenny Omega Dustin Rhodes match. Let's see a fucking Ishii Dustin Rhodes match. No, don't tell me to calm down. I'm getting okay. All right, I'll calm down.
26 will be here before you know it.
I'll calm down.
I'll just say this.
I'm 42.
No, I'm saying June 26th.
I'm just saying I gotta watch my heart rate.
Wait, what am I supposed to? As I'm smoking a cigarette.
You'll be fine.
Yeah, right. As I keel over.
Black guys always live longer. See, I'm gonna get yelled at like I did last week about my joke. By the way, I got canceled by a few different organizations last week. The president of Mexico yelled at me.
I can imagine that was on line one, right? As soon as that motherfucker.
LAX they're coming after me.
There's a hit on you now, dumbass. I didn't have a problem with this match. Ultimately, it sets up what we saw at the end, where you see Paige come out and basically he and Punk cross paths.
It's Paige and Punk now.
That's double or nothing as far as I'm concerned.
I mean, Punk has to take it from Paige. Yes?
I don't know.
Go ahead, agree.
I still want to say MJF, but it looks like he's going to get tied up with Wardlow for a little bit. It would make sense. Punk and MJF have history.
Motherfuckers come out and they handcuff Wardlow.
Stone Cold.
Very funny.
Stone Cold.
Very funny.
Nah, that's some Stone Cold shit, dog. Come on, man.
Blackpool Combat Club face Lee Moriarty, Brock Anderson, and Dante Martin. Is that right?
Yep.
Yeah, and Dante Martin. It's a good enough match. I'm ready for Blackpool Combat. Now, I realize this is super impatient. I'm ready for Blackpool Combat Club to move on to like a real feud. But I also, when people get really upset about them not moving on to a real feud, I also understand that you have to establish them like as a thing before they're going to get into something. That doesn't bother me at all, especially with all the other things going on in AEW. I've been reading too much Twitter, man. I told you I tried to my tones it.
Well, no, okay. Let's just play devil's advocate for 30 seconds.
Please.
If you had the pencil, who do you have Blackpool Combat Club feuding against first?
The Revival.
Okay, are you saying FTR?
Yes, FTR.
Okay,
yes.
So then it would be FTR, and then who would be the Blackpool Moxley Danielson? I'm assuming.
Yeah.
Okay. I guess
I was so glad that Tony Khan's announcement wasn't a trios belt.
I'll say it's getting ready to be that time, dog. But yeah, that's another story for another time.
What do you mean?
Goddamn. House of Black just, reappears again. It's just time, okay?
Well, see, okay, so you have Blackpool Combat Club go against the Gun Club. They go over them easily. They give them 7 minutes. I watched it. Bryan Danielson gives them the offense that they need to give. Right. And, I watched enough, listened to enough podcasts, read enough books, watched enough Stone Cold Steve Austin things on Peacock, where I know that that means something to somebody like Billy Gunn's kids. Just give me some offense. Let me get some offense. I understand all that. What they really need to be doing is taking the belts off of Jurassic Express. There's all this story to be told for the Undisputed Elite that have nothing to do with the belts. You don't need the belts to tell that story. Jurassic Express should not have the belts anymore. I love Jungle Jack Perry. Luchasaurus is a dinosaur. But, Bryan Danielson and Jon Moxley should have the belts. Or you should have a Freebird rule where, Wheeler Yuta gets in there. They need another guy, though, right?
I guess that you kind of stole my thunder, and I'll just kind of pick up off that.
It's got to be a stable.
When Moxley and Danielson first, had their interaction, Bryan Danielson named off names of who could be in their future stable.
Lee Moriarty.
Exactly.
Yeah.
In the commentary at one point, Excalibur was saying that William Regal was looking at Lee Moriarty, train or whatever, and William Regal just painted it as, that's just what I do. That's how we become, Blackpool Combat Club, blah, blah, blah. I'm not saying, but, if we want to connect the dots, I think this is more so about Lee Moriarty
ultimately
coming to the Blackpool Combat Club.
Fucking A.
If that's, I'm not saying it's going to happen, but if they're at least putting the breadcrumbs out there that if it's going to happen, this is the start of it. So the match itself was fine. I think more so for me, it was the checklist is the Bryan Danielson checklist. Daniel Garcia is on said checklist. So that's, I guess, if there was the answer I was looking for, that's the answer I was looking
Dante
for.
Martin?
No, Daniel Garcia from Jericho Appreciation Society.
Oh, well, Dante Martin is...
I think he was like on that too, but the big ones were...
I'll tell you who I wouldn't take is Arn Anderson's fat kid.
Stop, dude. Stop. You ain't shit, man. Damn. Come on, Brock got to do something too.
Yeah, no, he doesn't.
Yes,
no,
he does.
Yeah, he does. He needs to get a job at Kinko's, man, because you ain't got it. Sorry, Brock Anderson. Come on the podcast. We'll talk about it.
I ain't going to be here for that one.
Undisputed Elite. Undisputed Elite cut a backstage thing. I'll wait to see what happens. It's the same thing. It's Red Dragon versus the Young Bucks. Adam Cole in the middle.
Trios title.
I'll be honest. I'm getting kind of sick of it.
It is taking a while, but I think a lot of it is because Kenny Omega is not being present. If Kenny Omega was present, I think this would be a storyline that would be rapidly moving forward. It might be a main event storyline.
We talked about the Forbidden Door thing. MJF and Shawn Spears stand in the upper deck, and they start throwing down popcorn, and they're talking all sorts of shit. Wardlow comes out in handcuffs, beats the fucking piss out of the Butcher, which he should. Gives the symphony of power bombs, which, the first time I heard the symphony of power bombs thing, I was like, this is never going to get over. And now it really got over with me. I'm like, this is fucking awesome. Just symphony of power bombs? That sounds fucking awesome. Like, what a cool phrase.
I liked it at first. It's just gotten, like you said, it's caught steam as time has gone on, and especially with MJF.
It's weird what gets over, It's gotten over with me. It's clearly gotten over with the live crowd.
Yeah, for sure. Because, it's... And no disrespect to the Butcher or anybody else that has to get power.
No, the Butcher's
like
good.
No, it's not even the Butcher that's bad. I was just saying that he's just the guy that is, the focus of someone that one physical human
He's
should
collecting
be able.
a paycheck.
No, I'm not. I'm not saying that. Let me just finish.
My grandfather was a butcher.
He's the focus of one guy just getting pummeled. Okay, and it's not because the Butcher's bad or he's a job or anything like that. It's just he is now he's the embodiment of what fans want MJF to ultimately feel at the end of the day. Shawn Spears might have to go through this hoop, and then ultimately MJF is going to be there at the end, and that's the focus of the fans. Butcher's the guy that's taking the blows, but MJF is the focus.
I don't have to say it any more than I've already said on this podcast. Go back and listen to the old ones if you have to. It's unbelievable how big of a star Wardlow is right now, and how big of a star. When people say, and I swear to God I'm not trying to do the straw man thing, but when people are like, well, why is MJF going over Jericho, and why did MJF get a win against CM Punk? It's like, because when MJF wins against these guys, he can put over a guy like Wardlow, and you don't need Jericho or Punk to put over a guy like Wardlow. All of a sudden, you have a guy like MJF, who's 26 years old. He can put over a guy like Wardlow, and now everybody is dying to see Wardlow. Everybody is dying to see Wardlow give MJF a powerbomb symphony.
Agreed.
Everybody.
Agreed.
And that is why you put a guy like MJF over. So all these motherfuckers out there, they're saying that MJF is fucking Ms. Junior or Ms. Light or whatever they want to fucking call him. That is fucking wrong, because Wardlow is on fire right now, and he is barely even allowed in the building, kayfabe style. Eddie Kingston cuts a promo on Jericho Appreciation Society. It's as good as expected. Eddie Kingston, there's not much you can say about it. He's a great promo.
Quick sideline for 30 seconds.
30 seconds, I'm counting down.
Does Eddie Kingston win a mid-card title in either AEW or ROH?
Of course, he has to. Yes.
Okay.
Eddie Kingston will have the TNT title one day. I know we asked this question whether or not he'd have the big title one day, and we all kind of
could he be ROH champion?
We all kind of said no. Yes, he could be ROH champion.
Okay.
I mean, he's a stud.
No, he's
fucking great. I know you're not saying it, but I'm saying,
like I said, I just wanted to play devil's advocate. I think Eddie Kingston in Ring of Honor would be interesting because, especially if he's Ring of Honor champion, you got to shake whose hand? Oh man,
Kyle O'Reilly versus Jungle Jack Perry.
It was good to see Kyle O'Reilly get back into singles. I thought he was going to win this match because the week before, obviously, Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus retained the titles, so I didn't necessarily see a reason for them to have Jungle Boy go over here. It was just, like I said, it was nice to see Kyle O'Reilly come back in singles and have a good competitive singles, kind of a technical match, not too much, high flying, but more of a technical singles match where it felt like he out wrestled Jungle Boy. I was honestly waiting for Red Dragon, the Bucks, Adam Cole, Baby to come out. None of them came out. To me, that was the second biggest, takeaway from this match, because when you have the huddle in the backstage and you got Adam Cole, Baby, talking about, we got to, watch each other's backs. This is, I thought, the perfect opportunity to start getting the Undisputed Elite, quote unquote, back on track. When it didn't happen and he won, I was just like, oh, that's it? And I'm like, oh, okay, no. And it wasn't bad. I totally like the fact that heels win clean sometimes. They don't always have to win dirty. Do they,
Did I hear you say that you thought that Jungle Boy was going to win this match?
No. I thought that Kyle O'Reilly was going to, because Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus retained the titles the week before. There was no reason, especially in a singles tournament match, there was no reason for them to have Jungle Boy win again. And then later, if you want to do this down the line, and when Jungle Boy breaks away from Luchasaurus, and now you can do this kind of the same thing you're talking about with on a much lower scale, the mid-card scale, if you will. Okay, you can break off and do CM Punk versus MJF for the title. You can do Kyle O'Reilly versus, Jungle Boy at a later point. To me, was a bookmark in their story.
I thought that Kyle O'Reilly was going to win. He won. I'm going to say something might be controversial. It might not be controversial.
Shit. Let me get my beer for this one.
It's easy to see why Kyle O'Reilly and Bobby Fish as Red Dragon made their biggest, why they were so popular and why they made their biggest advances getting over in a company that really didn't expect them to talk, because they are charisma-less. They have no charisma. Kyle O'Reilly has no charisma. He's a very good in-ring wrestler. Very good. Not as good as Roderick Strong, but he's pretty good.
Yeah.
Bobby Fish, very good in-ring wrestler. And they're a very good tag team. But they need somebody like Adam Cole.
I can agree with that.
They need it. Because when Kyle O'Reilly, when they're standing there and it's the Undisputed Elite, right? It's Adam Cole, baby, and Red Dragon on one side and the Young Bucks on the other side. It is like all of the charisma is sucked into the middle with Adam Cole, and then it kind of like drifts off over to the Bucks, and then there is
drift off over.
There is nothing. There's nothing at Red Dragon's side though. Nothing. And when Kyle O'Reilly talks, it's like, this is why Kyle O'Reilly was terrible as a babyface in NXT. He couldn't do it. It's just not in him. Now, that's not such a knock on Kyle O'Reilly. It's just, you got to get in where you fit in. You can fill up any part on the card, but what you can't do is be Adam Cole.
Okay.
You get what I'm saying.
I do get what you're saying, but I think this is if you just want to talk about it as
I'm talking about charisma.
Okay. I'm not going to dispute the fact that Kyle O'Reilly / Bobby Fish aren't as great on the mic as Adam Cole, baby, or the Bucks. I'll give you that.
Not even on the mic. I mean, just charisma.
But here's where, unlike ROH, AEW does it to a certain degree. They play to certain guys' strengths. Okay? It's not that the fact that you saw Kyle O'Reilly running the backstage promo, it was Adam Cole. Kyle O'Reilly was placed in a spot
Shouldn't be allowed to talk. Shouldn't be allowed to talk.
He can get the one line that zingers in. If you're asking Kyle O'Reilly to cut a babyface promo like they did in NXT.
Wearing a fedora or whatever the fuck he was wearing.
Okay.
Very bad idea.
You're setting him up
I'd love to know whose idea that was.
You're setting him
Michael
up to
P.S.
fail because, it probably was, now that you say that with the fedora. If you're setting him up to fail because that's not what he does. Okay? I wait tables.
Yes.
You're not asking me to go back into the kitchen and cook a medium rare
No
filet.
doubt.
Okay?
No doubt. No doubt.
That's all I'm saying.
All right. Okay. Good. Well, we're in agreement then. We're okay then. Okay, so Hook comes out, squashes some dude. Listen, I'm an AEW sexual. I talk how much I love AEW all the time.
Anthony Henry is not some dude, by the way.
Huh?
Anthony Henry is not some dude. If for the strong, hardcore indie guys, this is kind of... For me, it's kind of a deal because Anthony Henry is no joke. And if you come out and squash Anthony Henry, there's something to be said about that.
Okay, it was over in less than 3 minutes.
Give or take.
So if you're not talking about WWE Raw, this is a squash.
This is squash.
WWE Raw, if you have Ricochet versus Jinder Mahal and it's 3 minutes and 37 seconds.
It's a squash.
All the WWE guys get on Twitter and they're like, well, Ricochet won in the middle of the ring. 1, 2, 3. It was a good match. It's like, no, motherfuckers, it's 3 minutes. So just because it happens in between commercial breaks, you fucking dorks. Hook versus Anthony Edwards. Or what's his name?
Anthony Henry.
Anthony Henry. Anthony Edwards was Goose.
Yes, R.I.P.
Well, Goose R.I.P. I think Anthony Edwards is still alive.
Yeah.
The guy from ER, yeah. But he beats Anthony Henry, and then Danhausen comes in. Tell me what you think.
You know me. I mean, I'm not a huge fan of comedy and wrestling. The one thing that I needed to see actually happen, Danhausen was like, you know what? I'm through fucking with you. We need to fight. Mm-hmm. This curse thing ain't working no more.
Yeah, and Hook no sold it
again. So if that's going to be the deal, that's fine. But ultimately, I think this is more so about Danhausen for me. I don't get it.
What is Hook's appeal?
To me, Hook is...
I know that Zach probably fucking loves him. Zach's probably got a Hook poster on his fucking glove box. Like, I have no idea what his appeal is. He looks 19.
Right.
He looks like my nephews are 18, 16, and 13, and he looks like every single one of them combined with a shittier haircut.
The hair is just ridiculous. God bless him.
What's the appeal?
I was thinking about this today. I was driving over here, and
you were driving here. You're thinking about Hook.
Well, it was the CM Punk.
That's fine.
It was the CM Punk. The CM Punk promo when he was feuding with Team Taz, and he was like, send Hook, and it was like a joke. And now all of a sudden, Hook ain't a joke anymore. He's slowly but surely making his way to the I won't say the main roster, but to Dynamite or whatever the case may be. I'm not expecting anything from Hook.
What's the appeal though? My question is, what's the appeal? And I know that you haven't been like driving the Hook thing hard to the hoop or anything. I'm asking you. People are holding up Hook signs. People are excited for Hook. What is the appeal of Hook? He's Taz's kid. And we all know that nepotism and we all know that nepotism is alive and well in wrestling.
Yeah, for
of
sure.
course it is. That's part of the deal. I mean, it's shitty.
I don't think it has anything to do with him being Taz's son. I
no,
just think that.
Come on.
No.
You think he'd be exactly where he was if he wasn't Taz's son? Stop.
He got
Don't
his
do it.
opportunity to get in the door. Now, how he's being presented from that point is something entirely different.
You don't think...
Who's he really beat?
I don't know.
Exactly.
I don't know.
Exactly.
No, what I'm saying, Jason, is
QT Marshall? Is that a big deal?
What I'm saying, Jason, I appreciate you saying QT Marshall instead of QT Marshall. But what I'm saying is, why is he even a thing at all? Would he be a thing if he wasn't Taz's kid? Would he have gotten an opportunity on television if he wasn't Taz's kid? Of course not. Neither would have Brock Anderson.
Tony Nese is here, so I mean,
Who's Tony Nese's dad?
Exactly. It does.
What do you mean exactly?
Certain people get it's
Tony Nese.
It's the real world.
Have you seen Tony Nese's body? That guy is incredible looking.
Okay.
Also, the guy can fucking wrestle.
Okay,
what does
so
Hook
it's
do?
it takes all kinds of people in this world.
I think you're missing the point. I think you're missing the point.
What's your point?
My point is that Tony Nese got here on his merits because he can fucking wrestle.
Okay, that's certain
and because
people.
he looks unbelievable. And Hook looks like a skinny 20-year-old's fucking
Is that
swimmer.
not the corporate world?
Well, yes.
Thank you. The defense rests.
I'm just saying it's not. I already admitted it's not a meritocracy. I'm asking you. I didn't even say you knew the answer. What is his appeal, though? Can you answer that? Like, you feel like I asked you. Hold on.
To me, he's under. Well, damn, you gonna ask me the question?
No, hold on. Let me finish my question.
Jesus.
I ask you what his appeal is, and you're like, well, I'm not saying like you say he has appeal. I'm asking you as an outsider who's not a hook mark. Right? You're not a hook mark.
No.
What's his appeal?
Honestly, I don't really totally get it.
That's all I wanted.
Jesus fucking Christ.
That's all I wanted. That's all I wanted is that you don't get it either. I just wanted to find a little bit of common ground with you.
Look, there can be common ground, but damn,
Do you agree that Paris is the capital of France? All right, now we're on the same page again.
Okay, see, that's what I'm saying. No, it really should be. That's another story for another time. It's just an undercard storyline. I don't see a problem with Hook dominating the first hour of whatever pay-per-view. Knock yourself out. You want to throw Hook in and have Danhausen, get his ass handed to him? That's not an issue. If Hook was beating Scorpio Sky for the TNT title, now we got an issue.
Right. I guess I can't do this without yelling at people on Twitter. Like, I really have to stop doing this. Like, I really have to stop thinking about it because my whole thought is there's so many people that are like, there's so many AEW fans. It goes both ways. There's so many AEW fans that are like, why is Johnny Knoxville taking this person's spot away on WrestleMania? Why is Logan Paul taking this person's spot away on WrestleMania? Why is Steve Austin taking Ricochet's spot away on WrestleMania? And then they're like, well, fucking Hook rules. It's like, now, wait a minute. Now, where the fuck did this kid come from, and why the fuck is he any good? Why is he any different than Kurt Stallion, friend of the show? Why is he any different than fucking Dijakovic? Why is he any different?
Frenemy of the show.
Frenemy of the show. Why is he any different than any of these guys? That's what really bothers me. And it's not. I'm really not yelling at you.
Yeah, but
I hate the hypocrisy of the whole thing. It's like, just
fan is short for fanatical. So you're not necessarily going to get logic in a lot of this shit, okay? So for me personally, I try to take everything with a grain of salt. In this scenario, Hook is Hook. I don't necessarily worry about him.
So let's get on to Danhausen.
Okay.
Now,
That's
Danhausen,
the guy I don't get.
I don't get Danhausen either. And I tried
he's
to
Orange
get
Cassidy before I finally got it.
Oh, he's way worse than Orange Cassidy. Orange Cassidy does something that nobody else does. Nobody else does.
I got the wrestling part. I just didn't get the gimmick part.
Danhausen.
I need to see the wrestling part.
I was
Danhausen.
watching it last night and I was like, what the fuck is the appeal of Danhausen? And I read his Wikipedia, right? And I was like, where's this guy from? Like, what's he do? You know, like how did he get into wrestling? I'm reading his Wikipedia.
Damn,
and
he
describes his own wrestling character as Conan O'Brien with face paint.
He ain't too far off. I don't know. That's what I'm saying. I want to see.
And if you watch that promo last night that he cut on Hook, it will not make you like it. Nope. If you watch it in that respect, it will not make you like it. It is
I didn't
bad.
say I liked it. I'm
not saying you said you like it. I'm saying that people like it. People are into it. AEW sexuals are into it.
Yes.
And I'm an AEW sexual, and I am not into it at all. Get the fuck out of here, man. He's taking Samoa Joe's spot. He's taking Lee Moriarty's spot. He's taking everybody's spot. Get the fuck out of here, Dan
I was
Housen.
just about to say, there's enough programming going around, at least for the moment, that Lee Moriarty or other guys.
All right, so we got to keep it moving. We talked about Scorpio Sky and Kaz. We talked about Sammy Guevara and America's Top Team, House of Black, whatever. Britt Baker.
See, I don't like that. House of Black, whatever. I don't like that.
It was a small little vignette.
I'm not saying.
What do you want to talk about?
No, I'm not saying that you
want to spend 5 minutes talking about it?
If you would just shut the fuck up and let me talk, goddammit. I'm saying that this is the problem with AEW sometimes, is now House of Black came in like a house of fucking fire, and now they're an afterthought. That's all I was going to say. Now we can move on. God damn.
Thank you. I agree. Thank you for agreeing with me.
If you shut the fuck up, maybe we'll agree more.
I like it. I like it when you agree with me. Britt Baker versus something Kamala or
Danielle. I'm sorry.
Danielle Kamala?
Sounds right. She was,
it was
one
fine.
of the NXT girls.
I got a real big problem with this segment.
I'm sure you do. Go ahead.
Do you know what my problem is?
If you say anything about the Steelers, I swear to God.
No, it's not going to be the Steelers.
Okay.
No, I don't care about the Steelers.
Knock yourself out.
Could not give a fuck about the Steelers. My problem is her
Until the season comes around and you got to get the under.
Man, I'll take the under every time with the Steelers, man. They don't score. My big problem with this promo is that she basically shit on the entire women's division. Like, what does that do for anybody? What does Britt Baker coming out there and shitting on every single women's wrestler in AEW, what does that do for the division? What does that do for her when she beats them? What does it do for AEW? It's bad. There's a way to talk about your opponent by putting them over and still talking shit about them. And that was not the way that you do it. It was bad wrestling. What do you think?
I'm going to have to disagree with you on that.
You watched it?
Yeah, of course. What the fuck?
You did watch it?
Yeah, I did watch it.
You watched it? Okay.
Of course, it's in Pittsburgh.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm watching it. Now, that being said, I don't necessarily have a problem with this. She's a heel. I mean, heels aren't just going to pass out the love, okay? They're going to run down the opponent. The person that the takeaway from the promo was she threw out Jade, who to me is a mid-card champion, but if done correctly, you can get the rub off of Britt and have Jade move up and keep Britt somewhere in the middle. That's my takeaway from it. Anything she said that past that point, people that she named out, she ran down, that's what you're supposed to do. She's a heel.
Fair enough.
Damn right. I was waiting for her to do more shit.
Fair enough.
Fucking motherfuckers got away with that.
Listen, we disagree on this, but I respect your opinion.
Yours is just wrong.
That's fine. Coming up next in the main event, we had Darby Allin versus Andrade.
I'll let you go first on this.
Listen.
Coffin match.
It was a coffin match. Not my favorite type of match. When you know it's a coffin match and Darby Allin, his finisher is the coffin drop, you know that Darby Allin is going to go over, right? There's no doubt.
Yeah.
My problem is they put Andrade against him. They have not done Andrade very well since he's been in AEW. I guess that's my biggest problem. I wouldn't have put Andrade in this spot. If you want to have Darby Allin go over somebody in a coffin match, make it Ethan Page or somebody that doesn't matter as much. Andrade should be out there in the CM Punk slot. Andrade should be out there ripping off matches against guys that you want to see him versus Penta or something. You want to see them have a 13-minute match at the beginning of Dynamite. That's where Andrade should be. Andrade should not be jobbing out in a coffin match to Darby Allin. That's my thought.
You ain't saying nothing I ain't said for a while. And that Santana Ortiz, same concept, same cut. I'll just go like this. I get the why. The why makes sense. For storyline purposes, I would like to think this feud is coming to an end. It has, honestly, if you want to really stop and think about it, it hasn't done anything for anyone outside of Sting, and I'll let Two Beer defend his boy next week about him jumping off another fucking balcony at 62 years old. That, to me, was the highlight of it. Outside of that, it was the same old Andrade family order coming down, getting involved. There's your smudge for the week. I'm sure I missed one or two beforehand. Ultimately, it doesn't matter. As much as I want to disagree with Bill, he kind of stole my thunder. I knew he wouldn't like this match because it's a Darby Allin kind of gimmick match, and this is what he kind of does. Ultimately, I guess down the line, maybe when he becomes, more of a main event star and he's going for the title and it's a coffin match and the title's on the line, maybe at that point it'll have more.
But Andrade is a work rate dude.
I'm not disagreeing with you on that. Okay, I've said it multiple times. I said it before Jeff Hardy came over. Andrade should be doing more, and now I think I almost want to say we've seen the ceiling of Andrade, and it wasn't even really that high of a ceiling. Okay, you got to creep down to get into this motherfucker.
Yeah, but if AEW is not going to do it, then who is going to let Andrade do what Andrade can do?
Triple A.
Well, that sucks because having Andrade job out to Darby Allin, and I've said before that I think that Darby Allin is a great in-ring performer, and we have seen a lot of Darby Allin main events, and every single time he goes over. Every single time he goes over. So when does Darby Allin lose? He can't lose to fucking Andrade?
No, I was about to say the triple
last
threat
time
match. Andrade did beat him. Okay, so that's what I'm saying. Once it became a coffin match, to me, that was a wrap. You knew who was going to win that match. Period, point blank, end of discussion. That's the problem. Okay, Andrade doesn't need to be in this spot. He needs to be chasing for the TNT title at the bare minimum. Okay, I got a lot of people, we're talking about wrestling Twitter. I'll bitch about wrestling Twitter for 30 seconds. I'd say
it's the worst. It's the worst.
It's not the worst.
It's the worst.
Everybody's got an opinion like they got an asshole. Okay, knock yourself out. I'm not going to take this shit home. Fuck that.
Yeah,
anyway.
But listen, I follow you on wrestling Twitter though. All you do is you say exactly what you think, but you're not super negative. You're not shitting on everything. You're not like, oh, they shouldn't have done this and done this and done this. It's like everything on wrestling Twitter is so fucking negative, except for me, you, and Zach, pretty much. Plug Girl Raven, she's a good one. High Five Tom, he's a good one.
Honestly, I just think that people just have their opinions, and and some are strong, some will, curse your ass out.
I'm so sick of the negativity.
To me, when I think of Andrade, I don't think that he necessarily
our horny friend. What's his name?
Steve Patterson.
No, he's horny.
I don't necessarily think that Andrade needs to be champion, but I think a coffin match should be above Andrade. This should not be his highlight reel of him being in AEW.
Michael Wallace Seals, very positive.
God bless him. I mean, he watched, what was the Good Brothers segment? I can't think of what it was, but they did some shit during the pandemic. I wanted to watch it, didn't watch it. Everybody else watching it and said they loved it. And I've never watched it. And you know, that's another good...
Dog 69.
Loves him some AEW. That's a joke, for real. He doesn't love it, but we're starting
don't like me.
No, he likes you. He just likes to fuck with you. But, you know, it's another...
I don't like him.
You like to fuck with him, too.
No. I wish he'd go away.
Yeah, it's a scenario
Getting
where
ready to
we're
block
bringing him over to the
You hear
AEW
me, dog
dark
69?
side. But he has his opinion. He likes more of the independent scene, and God bless him for it. This is where, you know, if I didn't see Eddie Kingston and Glory, bro.
I think the dog is probably Murray's burner. Trying to act like he lives in Illinois.
I'm gonna go ahead and say that's a hard no on that being Murray's burner account. At the end of the day, I'll just say this: Andrade needs to be in a better position than where he is. It feels like the move has not helped Andrade moving from AEW or from WWE AEW. It's not even a lateral move anymore. It kind of almost seems like it's slid down coming over to AEW at this point.
That's going to do it for our 2 count. Let's get to that 3 count.
1, 2, 3.
All right, JCB, you're up. What's a 3 count? It's up to you, man. Whatever you want to talk about.
Like I said, we're going to talk about WWE on Raw and SmackDown.
I have thoughts. I watched them both.
Go ahead. Go with the SmackDown shot because I didn't watch SmackDown this week.
Well, SmackDown was pretty bad, actually. SmackDown was not good.
Like
it ended up the main event was pretty good. It was Riddle versus
I saw the highlights
versus Jim Uso, not Jimmy. Jim, I call him Jim.
Oh, okay.
James Uso.
Okay, y'all got it like that. Okay,
I call it James U is what I call him.
Fair enough. I thought it was a tag team match.
It was not. It was a singles match.
match.
Riddle
Usos
versus Jim.
Udo, yeah, the
Riddle
Uso.
won. Nope. Riddle won with an RKO out of nowhere.
Okay.
Pretty much. I think it's pretty fucking cool, and I would have never seen it coming, how over RK Bro is. They are over.
No, I hated it at first. I think that, you know, this is
They're over, though.
Oh, yeah, for sure. This is the height of their popularity at this point. I would have the sneaky suspicion that they would end up losing to the Usos when they have to unify the titles at Backlash.
Well, here's something interesting that happened on SmackDown. Charlotte Flair comes out and cuts a promo on Ronda Rousey, and I'll be goddamn if that didn't sound like a shoot. It's
what she said.
And maybe Charlotte Flair, with her history of what she did in the title thing, earlier this year with Becky Lynch, and what she did with what was her name, the pirate chick.
Kairi
Sane, yeah. It's like she kind of has a history of going rogue. In her promo about Ronda Rousey, she's like, she always goes up and she never says anything to the wrestlers. She just always goes up and bitches to the powers that be. It's like, man, that sounds like a shoot, man. And I wouldn't be surprised if Charlotte Flair was pissed off at Ronda Rousey. Ronda Rousey has been a failure.
I wouldn't say she's been a failure. I think that you can't be a failure when you have enough interest in the main event of WrestleMania where they actually become the main event. So I can't say she's a failure in that sense. Do I want more from her? Yeah. You know, I think in this scenario, if you're going to have her in the top spot on a wrestling promotion, I like to see a little more from her. You know, a Paul Heyman type, I think, would be perfect, but you know, Heyman has basically said that he wants to be with Roman, stick with Roman, and I don't necessarily have a problem with that. Ronda's problem is not in the ring; it's the microphone.
Yes,
and nobody can invest into that.
It's
and
awful.
I mean,
it's the worst shit ever.
When we talked about earlier in the podcast, you're not playing to Ronda's strength. You're asking Ronda Rousey to cut a WWE type promo the way that they feed you the line. You have to, remember that shit.
Did you
UFC
see where
is easy. That's just, off the cuff.
Did you see where they made Drew Gulak an interviewer this week?
Oh, dude, stop.
Well, they did it. I think the only reason they did it was to have Charlotte put him in the figure 8, which was pretty funny because he was too big to do it. But, man, he, maneuvered himself, so he made it look pretty good. Drew Gulak's the man. There is a pretty funny feud happening right now on SmackDown. And I think they need to include Yano in it. That's the only thing that can make it better. It's Sami Zayn and Drew McIntyre. It's pretty funny.
Okay, so we're talking about...
Sami Zayn keeps taking losses and running out of the ring, and McIntyre just chases him. That's funny to me.
Okay, so when you're saying he's taking losses, so this is a count-out loss, or he's getting pinned?
He took a count-out loss last week.
Okay.
And he started running, and Drew McIntyre won the match, but he was pissed off about it, so he started chasing after Sami Zayn. See, to me, that's funny.
Okay, so Sami Zayn is playing...
I like wrestling, though.
Okay, but Sami Zayn is playing the chicken shit heel.
Yes.
So they actually had a match, and somewhere in this match, Sami Zayn's like, fuck this, I'm out.
Exactly.
Kind of like KO did it on Raw on Monday.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, they're funny dudes.
Now, look, I just, like I said, I didn't see it. My knee-jerk reaction
All right, we talked about Ricochet beat Gender.
Shut the fuck up.
Okay, did you see Butch beat up Ridge Holland and Sheamus after they lost?
No, dude, that's what I said. You got the SmackDown
Butch,
portion.
They lost, and Butch beats up
New Day,
Sheamus.
I'm assuming.
Yes,
Okay.
and Butch beats up Ridge Holland and Sheamus just because he's pissed off. And when they interview him about it on SmackDown, Sheamus says, we've had bigger fights fighting over the remote control at home.
Oh.
Like, Sheamus just undersells it. But the idea is that Butch, Pete Dunne, is crazier than those two crazy dudes, and they're actually kind of scared of him. And to me, that's a pretty good story. I like wrestling like that. That's funny to me. Don't you think that's funny?
I mean, I guess my knee-jerk reaction to this shit is like, okay, so now Pete Dunne is going to be beating everybody's ass, which is fine.
He's beating up Sheamus and Ridge Holland. They're scared of him.
Okay, I need to see. I guess I got to see this shit for myself.
I'll tell you what.
It just sounds silly to me.
Butch might get over.
Okay, we'll see.
All right. Lacey Evans is just telling her story now. It's like, this feels exploitative. I don't need to see this woman's trauma for my wrestling enjoyment. Like,
I'll just say this.
It's a lot.
I've heard bits and pieces of it, and I've always thought she should have been a babyface from the jump, and this is kind of the reason why I thought she should have been a babyface from the jump.
So I'm the only one that watches NXT anymore, right? You and Zach are, like, done with it.
I heard your boy Braun Breaker got pushed down.
It was really bad this week. The ending was so bad this week.
I was gonna say, I read that shit. I'm like, what the fuck is this?
All right, fuck it. We'll move on to Raw. So Raw was Cody and Seth in the opening segment. Did you watch it?
Yeah, I watched Raw. I watched Raw.
It fucking ruled, dude. It fucking ruled. Seth Rollins has such a command of his character right now. He is so fucking good as his character. Like, and when Cody hit him and, like, went to the crowd to play to the crowd, and Seth says, don't ever do that to me again. Like, he was serious as a motherfucker, dude.
It was good.
It was really good.
As much as I give WWE shit about, silly shit like Butch beating up, Sheamus and Ridge Holland.
No, that's not silly. That's good.
That's silly.
His name being Butch is silly. But him beating up Sheamus and Ridge Holland and them still being on the same team, like they don't care about it, that's good. That's new. That's new.
That's a good team. I'll just say that.
Have we ever seen that before in wrestling?
We have not. We probably have. It's just been a while. Anyway, I guess my point with this is WWE does a lot of things that I don't like. They are hitting every good point with this Cody story.
Agreed.
From the time he got to WWE,
I mean, there's no way I'm not going to watch the match of Backlash.
Well, yeah, I was going to say
who wins?
Greedily, and I said it online. Greedily, I want Seth to win because I want to see the tiebreaker at SummerSlam.
Don't they have to do that?
I don't.
No, before SummerSlam, it'd be like Money in the Bank or something.
I guess Money in the Bank is probably
like Cody's probably too big to win Money in the Bank.
He shouldn't win. Yeah, he shouldn't win Money in the Bank.
So having him have a match at Money in the Bank that would the tiebreaker, that makes more sense to me than Cody or Seth winning Money in the Bank. I think Theory wins Money in the Bank.
He's the U.S. champ, dude.
Yeah, but you can win Money in the Bank while being the U.S. champ.
Come on, man.
Well, we need to have a conversation about Theory, but not yet.
Okay.
Let's talk about Cody and Seth still. Like, so you think, who do you think is going to win if you put money on it? I'd put money on Seth.
If I had to, if we were doing a prediction right now, I would say that Seth's going to win.
I don't think that as big of a star as Cody is, I don't think that Vince is going to take the guy that he's created from the ground up, like Seth, and turn him into a 4-time champion and have him job out to Cody twice in a row. Well, I just don't think so.
He didn't create Seth.
Nor should he.
He didn't create Seth. He was in ROH, but that's another story for another time.
Yeah, but I mean,
I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying.
It's been 8, 9 years, 10 years.
He's a WWE guy.
He's a WWE guy.
Okay, I'm not disagreeing with that. For me, selfishly, like I said, I want to see this drag out as long as humanly possible because I'm enjoying this feud.
It's a great feud. It's a great feud.
They both work on the mic. They both have good chemistry.
Could end up being feud of the year.
Damn, dog. It's fucking April. Calm down.
All right, we gotta keep moving.
No, I'm done. I'm just saying.
Rhea Ripley turns. Any thoughts?
Not necessarily a surprise.
Do you think it should have been Liv that turned?
No, she's got baby face appeal, even though I don't necessarily like her. She's got baby face appeal.
Liv has got nothing. She's not.
No, she's not easy good. On the eyes. She's had some good matches.
She's easy on the eyes. They all are.
She's had some good matches. I just don't think that she is as upper echelon as other things.
You do like Rhea Ripley as a heel, though.
For Bianca Belair, she's going to need some fucking heels to fight. You know, Becky's gone. Sonya Deville is not going to be.
Sonya Deville is going to get smoked by Bianca Belair, right? That was not a good segment. That was not a good segment.
It is what it is. I'm not necessarily a huge fan of Sonya Deville as the part-time, wrestler / authority.
It seems so weird to me that they made her like authority. Like, why wasn't she just a wrestler the whole time? She had an injury?
No,
but they wanted to keep her on TV. Like, she's that charismatic. She had to be on TV.
She had that stalker incident or whatever. She had to go away, and then she came back. And I think this was the. Google that shit, dog.
Stalker?
Yeah.
They never caught me.
You broke out those binds then, I see.
We had Veer versus a jobber. Where you at on Veer?
He is what he is. I mean, he's the next big guy that could easily be gone in like a month.
Now, here was a classic Raw segment. Like, this is like classic.
I'm like, if
Kurt
anybody can get this shit over, it's these two jokers here.
Did you KO Ezekiel and Chad Gable the lie detector segment? This was
pretty good.
It was one of the best sports entertainment segments that we've seen in 10 years. Like, honestly.
Christ.
Honestly, 10 years. The pipe bomb promo was 11 years ago.
I looked that shit up so I can
No, I know it's 2011. I remember the day.
I'm fucking with you.
I remember watching it. But this was a sports entertainment segment for the ages. And, man, when this is why KO is so good. So Chad Gable's getting all his stuff in, where he's like, oh, thank you. And he goes, shh,
Ran down Gable Stevenson or whatever.
Yeah, and then KO stood behind him, and right when he was done going, shh, KO goes, shh, shh, shh. Like, he just starts pointing to the crowd. He was just like, shh.
Hush it up.
Dude, it was just KO getting Chad Gable's stuff over just because he's having a good time doing it,
Yeah, for sure. It was without question.
What a sports entertainment moment.
I don't give two rats' asses about Ezekiel. I could care less.
Oh, I think it's funny. Did you hear what his catchphrase was? When he goes, I just had
Zeke. I'm like, dude,
who wants to hear Zeke speak?
I'm like, dude, I'm done. I'm like, dude, just kiss my narrow fucking
Who
ass.
wants to walk with Elias?
Yeah,
and who wants to see Zeke speak?
I'm like, man, fuck this shit. God damn you, WWE. Y'all can't get shit right. You had this motherfucker.
No, that is right. No, that is right. What are you talking about?
No.
That's the best shit they could have done with him.
That
Dude,
shit,
that's the best shit. What was Elias going to do? Was he going to fight Undertaker, the fucking Mania?
I'm not asking.
What was he going to do? He's a fucking mid-carder, lower mid-card.
Ezekiel's not going to do any better.
It'll still be funny for a couple months,
and Elias was funny fucking too. Okay,
yeah, for a couple months, and then it got too old.
And so now
what's really going to fuck you up is when they bring out a second one, you're going to find out there are twins. That's really going to fuck you up.
You bring out a second one, God bless you for it.
Anyway,
I'm sorry.
It was a great segment.
It was a great segment. I'm just going to sit here and say that Ezekiel is not going to be any bigger than Elias.
All right, then Edge cuts a promo with Damian Priest standing by his side. Damian Priest looking like Robert Pattinson's Batman. Fucking eyeliner everywhere. It's like, dude, it's like you guys can wear eyeliner. Does it have to run everywhere? Like you've been fucking crying at the Oz at 4 o'clock in the morning? Like fucking just straighten your shit up.
It's 4 in the morning at the Oz.
Anyway,
they're still straightening
new
it
Batman
up.
was pretty good. It was pretty good. I liked it.
What?
Yeah, I liked it a lot, actually. It was fucking weird. Here's the thing, man. Like this Batman is like kind of moody and down. That's what everybody says.
Wow.
It's like, yeah, every Batman's moody and down. You
yeah, that's what I was
fucking
gonna
dorks.
say.
It's like, oh, really? Oh.
I was gonna
Is
say,
the villain kind of have a good point sometimes?
Michael Keaton was the only one that had, like, a mini sense of humor.
Oh, dude, speaking of Michael Keaton, I watched Jackie Brown today.
Good fucking movie.
Fucking great
so
movie.
As a Quentin Tarantino, not mega fan,
nobody
but just
talks about that movie.
Thank
that movie's
you.
good as
That is
fuck,
one of
dude.
the ones that I will put up against any of them. Pulp Fiction
Dude,
as well.
De Niro walking with Bridget Fonda and he fucking shoots her twice. He's like, shut the fuck up. It's so good.
God bless Jackie Brown. That's a good ass movie.
Fucking great movie,
Yeah,
man.
it's really fucking good.
I probably haven't seen it in 20 years. It fucking ruled. All right, so Edge and Damian Priest do their thing. And sidebar, do you like the idea of Rhea Ripley joining them? Because that's a rumor going around.
I think
her eye makeup, she also looks like Batman from the new Batman, the Robert Pattinson Batman. Batman.
If you're going to go with the theme of we kind of lost our way, we were supposed to do A, but now, we got sidetracked to B, Rhea Ripley makes a lot of sense. She was a champion. She got kind of, put together to this tag team. They were tag team champions. That shit didn't work. The live shit didn't work.
Are Edge and Damian Priest, are they supernatural?
That's, I think, the first thing that Edge was talking about was.
That's so stupid.
Okay. So, what's the difference between the KO show segment and then this Damian Priest egg segment? Because
KO segment was supposed to be funny.
Okay.
It was comedy.
Okay.
What this supernatural stuff does is appeals to 13-year-olds that play Slender Man or whatever fucking shit Fortnite. I don't know.
So even though, and just playing devil's advocate for 30 seconds, even though Edge connected the dots, Ministry of Darkness, I was in the Brood, this is why this happened.
Yeah, but the Brood wasn't good. Ministry of Darkness wasn't good. That shit wasn't good. So you're going back to shit that wasn't good. You know what was good about Edge? Christian. When they did the 5-second pose. That's the only thing that's ever been good about Edge. The Brood. Oh, we should go back to the Brood. The shit that sucked.
Look,
and you liked because you were 14?
I didn't say I liked the Brood.
I didn't say you. I'm talking about everybody else.
Okay.
Why are we talking about the fucking Brood? Get the fuck out of here with the Brood.
We asked last week, how is it all of a sudden that Damian Priest is getting, turn the lights down, there's, this purple hue on him. Edge at least did us the one thing, whether you like the explanation or not, that we want to see, at least I want to see from WWE.
Personally, I think the Brood sucks. I like wrestling when it's funny. I like Kurt Angle. I like Edge and Christian. I like Chad Gable. I like Sami Zayn. I like Kevin Owens. Those are the guys that I like.
Okay.
I like the funny guys.
And there's nothing
Get
wrong
the
with that.
Brood the fuck out of here. That's why I've always agreed with Steve Patterson when I say I like the American Badass Taker better than the Dead Man Taker, because the American Badass was at least, he fucking rode a motorcycle at least. Right?
It's Taker. I mean, you're not going to get a great answer from me either way.
I know. Yeah, that's even, yeah. Who was I thinking about asking? God damn.
Say,
all right.
Don't give a fuck.
Did you?
Dilly gaff.
I don't want to. I don't want to insult you here. I'm going to assume that you did, but I'm going to ask: did you watch Finn Balor versus Theory?
Yes.
Did you like it?
I think the right guy went over.
Did you like the match?
The match was good. I mean, I think Finn Balor is a good wrestler. I just don't think
the match was fucking great.
I just don't think that he is a fit for the WWE in any sort of capacity other than Finn Balor.
Oh, okay.
Other than getting somebody over.
You're kind of riding this horse on Twitter for a while. Like, you just think that he's been booked so bad that he should just quit?
No, I don't think he's... Look, I'm not asking for anybody to quit by any stretch of imagination. There's a lot of people on... No, I'm not... No, I'm thinking... I'm saying that Finn Balor, and I'll say this, right now, Finn Balor, to me, has hit his ceiling. He hit his ceiling when he won the Universal Championship. We just didn't know it at that point. Obviously, he got hurt. He came back. And he hasn't really gotten to that height of, popularity, or I guess, not even popularity, it was just booking wise. He's never really been in the main event scene again until I wouldn't necessarily. I want say the question again. I'm sorry. Bill is asking that I think he got fucked by bad timing. I won't necessarily say he got fucked by bad timing, but I think it's another great what-if question. What if Finn Balor would have stayed healthy and would have been able to carry the Universal title as the first Universal champion? It's a great question to ask. I don't think that necessarily Finn Balor is what Vince wants. He's a kind of a small guy. Not even kind of small guy. He's a small guy. He doesn't really talk really well on the mic, and that's a WWE thing. You have to be able to talk.
So when Theory wins the U.S. title,
and Vince comes out and raises his hand,
all the heels came out first.
Yeah, and
he got held
I'm
up.
like, okay, what the fuck is this?
Held up by Dijakovic, friend of me of the show.
The Hurt Business, everybody,
but don't forget about Donovan Dijakovic.
Friend of me the show, yeah, for sure.
Okay,
I said that like in the segment beforehand.
Thank you. I want to say it every time.
I did. You just said it.
And then Vince comes out. Now, Vince also I remember being at, I guess it was Elimination Chamber when Drew McIntyre beat Kane. And I remember Vince coming out for him too, because Drew McIntyre was
the chosen one.
Now, that was before Drew McIntyre got let go.
Right.
And then went away for a while and came back.
Vince came out and said he was going to be a future WWE champion.
He was right.
Drew took the scenic route of that motherfucker when he got there.
He sure did, man. He got out and walked. He was like, "Oh, there's a trail here."
Say, well, you driving the WWE?
This is called the TNA trail.
I'm gonna go ahead and walk. Just pull the car over. I'm just going ahead and walk.
And Vince is like, "Okay, I'll meet you up here."
Say, meet me in like 10 years, brother. I'll be down.
But anyway, I mean, Austin Theory is a future world champion. No doubt. He's going to beef up. He's not even that small. He's going to beef up, and he's awesome.
He was a former bodybuilder, so, I mean, I don't think there's a issue of how, can he put on the weight. Obviously, he can put on the weight. I think this is more so of Austin Theory. Can he evolve the character? This is a good mid-card character right now, okay? He's annoying enough to where you still want him to see his ass beat, but he's not big enough to be a possible 2-belt champion. Roman Reigns is not going to be, this unified bullshit is not going to happen too much longer. Sooner or later, they're going to break up the titles. It is what it is. So let's just play that devil's advocate for 30 seconds. I can see Theory being the Raw champion.
So this is the thing that I want to say a little bit later on. We were talking about the rumors. But there's a lot of rumors going around right now. And it's a lot of it, I'll just spoil it a little bit. It's a lot about like, so Jon Moxley's contract's up. Like, what if he got the Cody treatment next year at WrestleMania? What if it was Dean Ambrose versus Roman Reigns? First of all, it's hard to imagine Jon Moxley going back there, but that's what we all said about Cody, right?
Agreed.
And then it's like, well, they're really courting the fuck out of FTR too.
Yeah, their contract's up.
Their contract's coming up.
I think AEW has a right to kick in another year or whatever, but let's just say for sake of argument, their contract's up.
It feels like the podcast that I listen to and the Twitter that I see is a lot of people being like, man, it'd be cool as fuck if Dean Ambrose came back to WWE. Oh, man, it'd be cool as fuck if the Revival came back to WWE. Oh, man, it'd be cool as fuck if Jericho came back to WWE.
I bet it would.
All this shit, right?
I bet it would.
And it's like, it's kind
you
of,
had them, man.
No, but it's kind of like people. No, what it seems to me is like people have just gotten beaten into submission by WWE year after year after year after year after year. And when something else good starts, the only thing they can think about is like, oh, well, now AEW is like a farm system for WWE. It's like, no, motherfucker.
No, it's direct competition, and I don't care what anybody says.
It's direct competition, and the reason why you know it's direct competition is because the biggest thing that happened at WrestleMania this year was an AEW wrestler going back. That's how you know it's direct competition.
It was, I won't say it's the biggest deal, but I mean it's easily one of the 2-3 highlights.
That wasn't the thing that everybody was talking about coming out of WrestleMania. That in Austin.
Okay,
they weren't talking about Brock Roman.
No, I wasn't going to even say that. I was going to say Bianca and Becky was going to be
it was
the
a
other thing.
Great match.
You could throw any of those three,
but it's not
there.
the biggest story. The biggest story is Cody, and it's because he was AEW. That's how you know they're direct competition.
Okay, that's what I'm saying. Ultimately, I guess the problem is that AEW does things one way, WWE does things another way, and I would find it really hard to believe that Dean Ambrose goes back. Other people will go back to WWE. Cody's already, made that bridge over, so other people don't cross that bridge.
Cody's gonna talk to other people though, and he's gonna be like,
they
treat me like a fucking king,
right?
Because they are treating him like a fucking king,
without question. But I want to see Cody might be the outlier, but he being Vince. And I've said it before, he's going to have to do it and then continue to do it.
But when people are like, man, well, they've been gone for a while. I'd love to see Reigns versus Moxley in WWE. It's like, man, motherfucker, I'd love to see that. Well, if we're just fancy booking, it's like I'd love to see Austin Theory in the G1. I'd love to see. I'd love to see fucking Seth Rollins versus Adam Page. I'd love to see Seth Rollins versus fucking Kenny Omega. It's like you can go either way. You don't think that Tony Khan has as much money as fucking Vince? He does. He just didn't want to pay it to Cody.
And I guess that's where a part of this problem is that WWE has been around so long. Vince has, so much money. It's not Tony Khan's money, it's his dad money. To me, it doesn't matter. Right. When you can start, loading up this roster the way AEW has, you have to be able to understand they have some money. Now this is the next,
and they might lose guys, but that makes it a real competition.
I was getting ready to say this is the next, level coming up where now both tiers feel more established. more so on the AEW side. Obviously, WWE's been around for God knows how long, longer than me.
And the MJF stuff is like the fact that MJF keeps talking about his promos is fucking funny.
That's going to be where the rubber really meets the road. There's going to be guys that's going to go back over to WWE. It is what it is. You know, you're not going to get, you know, the time that you thought you were going to get in AEW.
I think if you're Tony Khan,
MJF is going to be no.
You can't let MJF go.
You can't. You just whatever you got to do.
You can't
back the Brinks truck up.
He's got to
give him what he wants.
He's got to be your dude
for the long term.
If you're Tony Khan,
yeah. If you're Vince, and don't get me wrong,
Vince could offer him a bunch of money. Tony Khan should just offer him $1 more
every time. You know, this is trading places. $1, motherfucker. Yep. You are not getting away. I just don't think, and let's just say
he's the one pillar that you can't let go.
Let's say for the sake of argument, he does go to WWE. I don't think he's nearly as entertaining, effective.
They'd make him a manager.
Right. And even then,
they would give him a stable, and he wouldn't wrestle, which is kind of like what he does now, actually.
But when he does,
talk shit.
But
it's like, hey, here's 5 matches that you have to fight before you can fight me.
But when he does,
it's actually a pretty good gimmick.
When he does, we watch.
Yeah. And
he pays it off.
Yeah.
And that's all you can ultimately ask for at that point. Okay, it's not like, and I'm not running down Roman Reigns because it's because it's WWE. I just don't like the fact
Roman Reigns is fine.
No, I'm just saying. Let me finish, motherfucker. Roman Reigns is not getting the love because the Brock Lesnar match didn't pay off the hype. Any other time, we wouldn't.
He never would have gotten the love on the 5th match with Brock Lesnar. Never. It would have had to. Somebody would have to have nuked somebody or actually kill him in the ring for it to be a bigger story.
If Roman would have came down and got out that Kimura lock and then pinned him clean without question, I think that would have gone a long way to getting this thing over.
All right, we're going to skip past the wedding. We're going to come back to it. We'll go to Cody and KO. So that was, of course, a letdown to the live crowd that it was KO. Everybody, when it's a mystery opponent, honestly,
I'll be the first to admit it. Didn't know it was going to be KO. I'm like,
I didn't either.
It's going to be.
I know. So is it going to be Great Khali? It's like, is it going to be Tensai?
It's like, no.
And it's KO. Of course, the crowd's going to be a little disappointed. But
kudos to WWE because they've gone away from KO and Seth for a little bit.
Have we seen KO and Cody ever wrestle?
There was a dark match that I saw like the week after Cody's debut, but as far as I'm concerned, I'm going to say no.
17 minutes with a count out, which is fair because it played into the
storyline. Yeah, KO was like, "Fuck that! This is your match." I'm gonna say I ain't got no business over here. He's over here kicking my ass. Fuck this shit. I'm out. I gotta go fuck with Ezekiel here in a little bit. I'm chucking the deuce. No problem with that. I thought it was absolutely perfect because it's not like KO and Seth are buddy-buddy. KO and Seth are buddy-buddy when it's mutually exclusive for them to be buddy-buddy. Right. You can help me out? Okay, fair enough. Well, but I ain't going to help you out here in a little bit.
We're leading to a KO Seth Rollins match.
Ultimate feud at some point.
Which they've already had. Look. They had a WrestleMania, but I guess.
In this scenario with Seth kind of being more of a tweener, in this case he's heelish versus Cody. He'll be more babyface versus KO. Seth can go a lot of different ways, and I think Seth Rollins deserves some credit.
I'll tell you what, though.
He's been really good in 2022.
Cody's on fucking fire, though.
So far, so good. Like I said.
Cody feels like wrestling.
No.
He feels like
WWE
wrestling.
has done him right so far since coming over.
He feels like cutting promos on Seth Rollins. It was a fun segment. And then we had Lashley and MVP and Omos. So they asked Lashley backstage about his deal, and then they showed him a video of MVP and Omos. And I have to say that this is a feud that I am into. You know why? It's because it's a story, and WWE doesn't like to tell stories. And this is a story about MVP and Lashley were together for 1.5 years, 2 years. Now, that is those guys were together, and they were a good act, and I like them. And then they have MVP not show up at WrestleMania, and it's like, wait, why isn't MVP with Lashley? And then they made it part of a story with Omos. So good on you, WWE. That's good writing. I like having Lashley needing to get his hands on the MVP, but having to go through Omos first. What do you think, Jason?
I just really miss heel Lashley. I do. I get it. I get it. You know, Omos is the next, incarnation. We're flipping the page, and it's something I've always asked for WWE. You know, let's make the next star. In this scenario, I kind of miss Bobby Lashley and MVP together. They felt like old times. It was good to see both guys, MVP especially, get a little love from the WWE universe, especially when he's the manager. And managers just don't, you don't see a lot of managers in WWE. It's just not what they do. MVP's a great one. Right. So you said it before the WrestleMania actually happened that MVP and Omos should be like the next, manager,
Did I say that?
Yeah, you did. You
yes.
actually mapped it out, and I was like, dude, that is so fucking good. So I have to give you credit.
I don't remember
for that.
saying that.
It was really good. I watched it unfold. It was like watching Jordan dunk for the first time over everybody. I was like, holy shit. But anyway, from that point, I just, it's going to be hard to watch Lashley, fold to Omos. It was nice to give Lashley the WrestleMania victory, but I think from this point on, it should probably be Omos, dominating the...
I'll disagree with you here, though. I think that Lashley is actually a pretty good babyface. I think that he cuts a pretty good babyface promo. I think that he's believable. I think that he is a guy that's pretty easy to root for. I think he's a great heel, too. Especially with MVP as a manager. That was a great act. The Hurt Business, I mean, I was a big fan of the Hurt Business. I remember putting on Friends of BFR. I was like, man, if these guys stick together, they can be really something. Yeah, they can be something really special. And they just kind of let them fall by the wayside.
You know what? The only reason...
that's Cedric Alexander and Shelton Benjamin are criminally underused.
The only reason I hesitate to give Lashley, hope as a babyface is when he came back. I remember Bobby's sisters with Sammy. I think it was Sami Zayn as the heel.
That didn't work. It was a bad angle.
That's where.
But when he was in TNA, though, he was a great babyface in TNA.
What's the key letters from that? TNA.
Well, those are letters. Those aren't words.
What did I say?
You said, what are those words? Those are letters.
Jesus Christ.
Unless you spell it T-E-E.
Okay, motherfucker, you get my point. Okay. Two different organizations. Okay, let me see Bobby Lashley get over as a babyface in the WWE.
Here's another thing I thought, though. Now, listen, this is my platform, right? I'm allowed to say whatever I want. Here's another thing I thought.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Here's another thing I thought. It's like, why do they always have to put Bobby Lashley through these, physical tests? And why does Bobby Lashley have to have an arm wrestling contest with Omos? It makes it seem kind of like the NFL Combine, which we know what the NFL Combine has been compared to. It's been compared to slave trade. So why are they doing that only with the black guys? Why isn't Braun Strowman doing arm wrestling shit with somebody else? Somebody's going to tweet at me like a YouTube thing of Braun Strowman doing arm wrestling.
I was just getting
probably with a black guy.
Yeah, right. I was just getting ready to say that I'm sure that Braun Strowman or whatever is
that part? You know that part in Jackie Brown, though, where Samuel L. Jackson's sitting in the bail bondsman's office, and it shows the bail bondsman with Zeus from No Holds Barred. He's like... he says the N-word so many times in this movie.
God bless him.
But he goes, who is that Mandingo looking? And he's like, that's Arthur. He works here. He's like, you guys tight? He's like, yeah, we're friends. And he goes, but I bet it was your idea to take that picture, wasn't it?
Just let you know.
That's so fucking
I say
good,
your
man.
boy over here wreck your motherfucking neck up in here.
Damn, I don't know. Why they always have to put the black guys through the physical challenges?
Okay, come on now. I was getting ready to say, if this was somebody white that they wanted to bring up slowly, I'm sure Batista or Triple H or somebody else had to jump these same fucking
Oh,
hoops.
yeah, sure thing. Oh, on TV?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
I would totally put that on
No,
it. I'll put
no,
that on anything.
They didn't.
Yes, they did.
Okay, did you watch the wedding?
Wedding was fine. It was funny in the sense where, we started to switch up the partners or whatever. But I waited for Truth to come over and ultimately win the title back.
You know how I feel about wrestling weddings. Big fan. Love wrestling weddings. I was not looking forward to this one.
Okay, never mind. I jumped the gun. What did you think?
Oh, I thought it was an A+. I thought it fucking ruled.
If I liked it, I'm like, if you didn't like it, there's something really wrong over here.
I thought it was really good.
Dude, I honestly...
Wrestling weddings, there's nothing like it. It's the strange... Like, in wrestling is the weirdest thing in the fucking world because it's just dudes fake fighting anyway.
In underwear.
But wrestling weddings is like a whole nother level of fucking strange.
It's basically like a license to do whatever the fuck you
Never
want
been
for
a bad one.
15 or 20 minutes or whatever the case may be.
Never been a bad one.
It was really, really
We
good.
saw 6 title changes in one wedding.
I'm like, all right, come on, Truth. Come on, Truth.
Dude,
come on, Truth.
Reggie kissing the bride and then lowering down till her shoulders were on the mat and the referee counting 1, 2, 3.
I was like, what?
Dude, that popped me. God damn,
like,
wrestling
what?
weddings are good.
I'm
Okay.
like, come on, Reggie, damn.
I'm glad we're on the same page here.
I'm like, I wanted to go to next week where they went to the honeymoon, and they're like, okay, so we're going to have the honeymoon, and you're going to get out of the bed? No, I can't get out of the bed. My shoulder's going to be on the bed. That's what I was waiting for.
That's going to do it for our 3 count.
1, 2, 3.
This is banned from ringside.
All right, so we started talking about the rumors earlier, and there's really not much more to talk about, except do you think that Jon Moxley do you think that FTR will be in WWE at WrestleMania next year?
No,
I can't believe it. I just won't believe it.
I won't say I won't believe it. I'll just say, for what I think I see, FTR and Moxley have, especially now if this New Japan thing really starts to be a deal, FTR can go to New Japan. You can see them with the Good Brothers again, or for the first time. You can see the Briscoes again. There's so many different opportunities for both not the Briscoes, but for FTR and Moxley outside of WWE. WWE has really the one card.
What?
They have money.
What Tony Khan should do is just back up that Brinks truck to Seth Rollins.
Seth Rollins would never go.
Steal you.
Seth Rollins would never go.
Did you ever think that Cody would go back to WWE?
No.
Well, then never say never.
Okay. I would be extremely stunned.
Yeah, but we get we're marks. We get stunned like 3 times a year. We're like, holy fucking shit.
Okay.
I mean, now some of it. One of those might be
Cody is one. You got 2
one
more.
of those might be
in the
them
next
giving
8 months. Let's see.
Amos and Andy.
See, you ain't shit, dog.
No, but that was a big story though when it happened.
I'm not disagreeing with that. I'm just saying.
But that was really weird.
It was really weird.
I'm not even trying to make a joke. I think about that a lot. I'm like, man, that is fucked up. Like, what were they thinking?
Who signed off on
this? It was 2020.
Right. I was going to say, you motherfuckers know better, okay? I ain't going to drop the N-bomb just yet. I'm drunk. I ain't that damn drunk. I'll just say
Not until I turn on Ice Cube in a minute.
Totally
God damn, I'm motherfucking pay you back with a twist. The motherfucking shot with the punks missed.
I'll say, they supposed to know about Ice Cube on
Ice
backstage.
Cube is outgunned. What is the outcome? Will they do me like Malcolm?
All right. Let's finish this shit up.
All right. I was just talking about rumors.
Moxley stays. I think Moxley
FTR,
stays.
I think everybody stays.
Yeah, because I just don't think that Moxley has to be at the top if you're going to bring him back to WWE. He would be a nice little safety net if you don't get
2-hour podcast. God damn, it's so
if you don't get Rock
long.
versus Reigns. You got Rock versus Moxley. FTR is not coming back. That would blow my fucking mind if they went back to WWE. It makes no sense.
This is banned from ringside.
Hey, we got some birthdays this week. Bruce the Barber Beefcake, who I met at StarCast.
Did you?
Smoking a cigarette outside the day after.
He was there.
He's 65. Still alive.
Yeah, he's still alive.
Nikki Cross is only 33. Ezekiel Jackson, former Intercontinental Champion.
I'm assuming he's alive.
Well, yeah, he's alive, dude.
I don't know. I don't
You would have
know.
found out if he was dead.
What, because I'm black? I'm supposed to know where all the black guys die? Is that what it is?
No. He was on SmackDown like just 7 years ago. If he would have died, they would have given him the Shad Gaspard fucking treatment.
No, stop it. They wouldn't.
He was Intercontinental Champion. Was Shad Gaspard?
How many guys? Totally different. Don't even put Shad Gaspard.
Chuck Taylor, or as I like to call him, Trent Beretta. He's 36.
That's a great inside joke.
John Cena, he's 45. The previously mentioned Dijakovic,
Friend of me of the show.
35.
Dude.
Britt Baker. Now, Britt Baker is one that I've thought about. Like, if she went over to WWE, she would make so much more money.
Britt Baker
she would be huge.
Britt Baker would be a big deal in WWE.
Huge. She could make
She
so much more
She
money.
can cut a great promo, and she doesn't have to wrestle as great as she seemingly should have to have.
And
in AEW.
you could put her in a match with Charlotte or
Right
Becky
now.
or
Right
Bianca
now.
right
Right
now.
now.
Yep.
How old is she? How old is Britt?
31.
I got a chance.
A lot of upside.
Mm-hmm.
What, to be her benefactor? Moose is 38.
I'll see you next week, Moose.
Kane, we'll see you next week, Moose. Kane is 55. I love Kane, but, like, I follow him on Twitter, and he is a fucking idiot. Like, he is a fucking Ayn Rand, fucking Atlas Shrugged, Fountainhead fucking idiot.
Bill goes
Go
off.
fuck yourself, Glenn Jacobs.
253. Bill goes off. That's how I'm gonna label this motherfucker.
Just stop being such a fucking nerd.
I was about to
He's
say,
all about the free market and shit. Oh, the free market. It's like, fuck off. Vladimir Kozlov is my age. He's just about 6 months older. He is 43.
Wow.
I know.
Rabbit fever.
Hey, everybody.
Middle of the night.
We know there's tons of podcasts to
True
listen to,
story.
so we appreciate you guys listening to ours. For
Thank
Murray
you.
the Murray Man Murray,
Jack.
for Patriot Pat, for
Jack.
Sideways in Time, for
Jack.
Randall Wrestling,
Double
for
check.
Tinder Mahal,
Double check.
for Vice,
Jack.
for my dog Reba,
Jack.
for Aaron for
Jack.
working tonight. Just say the fuck. That's
Bringing
great.
home
This
the
is
money.
lots of fun.
Bringing home the money.
For Two Beers Zach Poland, we'll
Jack.
see you next week. For my friend Jason Cornelius Bell,
Konnichiwa,
I am
bitches.
Bill Vagey, and
Jack.
everybody never ever forget to Black Lives Matter and just boo the heels.